Chapter 706. Neither Chen Zhao nor Louis paid attention to the doctor's yelling. Louis had the bodyguards destroy the surveillance in the ICU directly. Then Chen Zhao let them out. "Before I come out, no one is allowed to come in or disturb me." With that, Chen Zhao locked the door from the inside. The doctor wanted to stop Chen Zhao, but the bodyguards stopped him. "Who's there?" Norma asked weakly. Suddenly, Norma felt a hand ruffling her hair. She couldn't move at the moment. She could only let the hand touch her body. "Are you afraid of me?" When Norma heard this voice, she felt that it was somewhat familiar. However, her current state made her thoughts a mess. "I was sent by your uncle to kill you." Norma's body trembled slightly. She seemed to have taken it seriously. "How do you want to die?" "I'll strangle you, okay?" Norma felt the big hand slide down her face and then rest on the back of her neck. The hand slowly increased its strength. Norma tensed up. Immense fear filled her heart. "Forget it. It's too obvious. Why don't you write a will and pretend it's a suicide?" Norma was about to faint from anger. She was already like this. How could she write a will? Even if she did, would anyone believe it? "I, Norma Clawlem, don't want to live anymore. I'll give all my assets to my uncle, Louis Clawlem. Come, leave a handprint here." Norma felt the person really grab her palm and then leave a handprint on a piece of paper. Just then, Norma realized that there was something on her face. It was as if something was crawling on his face and crawling into his left eye. Have you heard of hermit crabs? You might not know what a hermit crab is like. They like to find a hole and live in it, never coming out. Norma trembled. She wanted to scream. But she couldn't. Unprecedented fear engulfed her body and mind. She was born blind and had never seen hermit crabs before. Plus, she had never heard of them in her upbringing. When he heard about hermit crabs, his first reaction was that his hair stood on end. "Don't worry, you don't have that much time. The hermit crabs will parasitize your eyes, lay eggs, and give birth to a lot of hermit crabs in your brain. They'll eat your brain, and then you'll die." No. No. Norma was so scared that her brain almost stopped working. She could feel that there seemed to be something wriggling in her originally empty eye sockets. Is this a hermit crab? Had it started laying eggs in his eyes? Norma began to let her imagination run wild. Just then, Norma suddenly opened her eyes. Illusion. Was it another illusion? This was the first time Norma had the feeling of seeing. Her face was still filled with fear. In the haze, she saw a figure. The figure was always in front of her, holding a very thin knife in his hand. She did not know what he was doing. Noises kept coming out from her mouth. At this moment, Norma couldn't move and could only endure it passively. Have you seen The Ripper? It's an interesting movie. You have to watch it when you're free. It's really interesting. Chen Zhao kept talking. He was really bored. Scaring Norma was also interesting. However, he did not notice that Norma had already opened her eyes slightly and was still talking to herself. Ha! Suddenly, Chen Zhao turned his head and saw Norma staring at him with her eyes wide open. Are you awake? Chen Zhao waved his hand. Can you see? Norma nodded with difficulty. Chen Zhao wiped the sweat from his forehead. Okay, my job's done. Chen Zhao pulled the white cloth over Norma's head. Then he opened the door and walked out. Louis immediately rushed over. Chen, how's Norma? Chen Zhao looked back and shook his head. Go in and see her. Louis poked his head in and immediately burst into tears. Norma, I'm sorry. Louis had already laid the cloth in front of Norma's bed and was crying his heart out. Just then, the doctor at the door finally grasped the opportunity and pointed at Qin Zhao. You murderer, you murderer. Why is this happening? Why is this happening? Qin, didn't you say that you could cure Norma? Why is she dead? Louis could not control himself anymore. I tried my best. Tried your best. How can you still smile when you tried your best? You didn't even try your best. I trusted you so much. Why did you disappoint me? Louis criticized Qin Zhao. Just then, the white bedsheet moved a little. Louis was startled and fell to the ground. What's going on? Norma. Norma's body moved just now. Maybe she came back to life, Qin Zhao said. Uncle, Louis shivered. Did she really come back to life? Louis had encountered paranormal events before, but his thought process was still like a normal person's. He knew that ghosts existed and obviously believed in zombies. Uncle, Louis heard Norma's voice again. This made him even more afraid. Carefully, he walked up and slowly removed the blanket. Then he saw Norma lying there. Her left eye, which should have disappeared, seemed to be there again. However, the pupil was clearly different from the right eye. Norma, rest in peace. I'll help you take revenge. Don't come back to life, okay? You're my uncle. Norma asked hesitantly. She was not sure, but Louis's voice was very familiar. However, she had never seen Louis before, so she was not sure if the person before her was Louis. If she closed her eyes and listened carefully, she would be able to hear it. However, her vision still affected part of her judgment. You can see me. Louis looked at Norma in confusion. Wait. You're not dead. Louis turned to Qin Zhao. Why isn't Norma dead? Uncle. Did you ask him to kill me? Ha! Why would you say that? You're my little Norma. How could I let someone hurt you? He said you asked him to kill me and then take over my property. In the beginning, he wanted to strangle me to death. Then, he asked me to put some kind of fingerprint on it. In the end, he put a hermit crab in my eye. He said he wanted the crab to lay eggs in my eye and eat my brain. Louis's face darkened. He turned his head angrily and looked at Qin Zhao. Chen, what's going on? I was bored, so I practiced my lines. Can you accept this explanation? Louis felt like he had been tricked. Norma isn't dead. Why did you say she's dead? Think back. When did I say that she's dead? You covered her face with the blanket. I was afraid that she would catch a cold. You said you tried your best. Chapter 707. Fuck. Louis was enraged. Did you trick me? That's unforgivable. Do you know how bad this joke is? Then do you know how bad it is to wake me up from my sleep and come all the way to New York? Qin Zhao stretched. Arrange a place for me to sleep first. Do you know that I can sleep until the end of time if I lie down now? I want to kill you right now. You want to kill me? Wait until I sleep. I'm really sleepy right now. Halfway through his sleep, he was dragged out. He had flown 4,000 kilometers to New York to perform surgery. It was a terrible experience, both physically and mentally. Qin Zhao was still angry when he woke up. Wait. What's going on? The doctor suddenly stopped him. You performed an eye transplant on her. What eye transplant? I don't understand. Her eyes were fine when I went in. Qin Zhao shook the doctor off. Louis, if your niece's hemorrhoids come back, remember to apply medicine. Louis's face darkened. If Qin Zhao didn't save Norma, he really wanted to shoot Chinzhao. Louis glanced at the housekeeper beside him. The housekeeper understood. "Doctor, thank you for your help. Ms. Norma's cold is much better. Please cooperate. Ms. Norma is going to be discharged now." The doctor felt like his intelligence was insulted. After Norma was sent to the hospital, he had been in the operating room for 3 hours. Now, her eyes were fine. One said she had hemorrhoids and the other said she had a cold. "Can't you guys discuss it first before trying to fool me?" But that wasn't important. What he really couldn't accept was, Norma's left eye didn't look like it had just been injured or operated on at all. Everything looked normal. This was what he couldn't get over. So, he really wanted to know how Chinzhao had done it. Just then, the housekeeper stuffed a check into the doctor's hand. "This is an anonymous check. You can withdraw it from any bank. There won't be any withdrawal record." The doctor had wanted to show that he wouldn't be defeated by money. But after seeing the number on the check, he was defeated. Sometimes, people shouldn't overestimate their beliefs. This was probably the easiest one to destroy. Chinzhao slept for a few hours in New York and then took Louis's connecting flight back to Los Angeles. Louis kept trying to get Chinzhao to stay, but Chinzhao still liked to stay at home. His impression of New York was really not good. Every time he came, there would be big trouble. Chinzhao felt that if he stayed any longer, he'd be in even more trouble. Although the trip was tiring, Louis still paid $10 million without hesitation. This was probably the most straightforward payment he had ever made. "Norma, it's time for dinner." Louis was worried that something might happen to Norma, so he took her home to take care of her. However, ever since she was able to see, Norma had been looking at things. She had too much to learn, and she hardly knew anything. So this was what it felt like to be able to see. Norma raised her head. She was wearing a monocle, just like a female pirate. "What are we eating tonight?" "Australian lobster, Japanese beef steak, and deep-sea crabs." "Crabs? Are they the same as hermit crabs?" Norma still had a deep fear of hermit crabs. "Hermit crabs aren't dangerous at all," Louis said, gritting his teeth. "They won't live on people. Don't be tricked by that asterisk shoal chin. Also, I didn't hire anyone to kill you." He had repeated this hundreds of times. Louis wouldn't kill Norma even if he wanted to kill Chinzhao. "My brother and sister took so much care of me back then," Louis said. "I'll take care of you like they did for me." When Norma's parents died, Louis was only a teenager and Norma was only a few years old. Louis was raised by his brother and sister-in-law, so to him, his brother and sister were like his parents. Norma was his niece, but he'd always taken care of her like his own daughter. Therefore, in this world, Louis would hurt anyone but Norma. Louis hated Chinzhao's joke, but Chinzhao had saved Norma. Louis was helpless about this. Of course, Louis was very grateful that Chinzhao had saved Norma. Especially the feeling of going from hell to heaven. It was a joy that no one could understand. "What's that on your hand?" "That? A watch." Norma only didn't know what most things look like, but she wasn't completely ignorant. For example, she'd heard of watches before. Louis only needed to say it and she would understand it completely. Even at the dining table, Norma was holding her tablet and looking at it the whole time. "Norma, do you want some more?" "No." Norma shook her head. "Uncle, I'm going back to my room." "Okay, rest early. I'll take you out tomorrow." Norma took 2 steps. Suddenly, her head felt heavy and she fell to the ground. "Norma!" Louis exclaimed. He quickly went up to check on her. "Norma, wake up, Norma, wake up. Call an ambulance, call an ambulance." Norma had only been out of the hospital for a day, but she was hospitalized again. "Doctor, how's Norma?" Louis asked anxiously when he saw the doctor walk out of the surgery room. "Miss Norma's condition is very strange. Her brain is normal, but her brain waves are very weak. I don't know what's going on either. She needs to stay in the hospital for observation." "You didn't find anything?" "No. Miss Norma's signs are all normal. We can't find out what's wrong with her." "I really shouldn't have hoped for you guys," Louis said angrily. For a doctor, being questioned in front of him was very embarrassing. This was something that hurt his pride, and the doctor was also angry. "Mr. Louis, it could also be that person from last night. Something went wrong with his surgery," the doctor said meaningfully. "You don't have the ability, so you doubt other people's abilities." Although Louis said this, he couldn't help but be suspicious. After the doctor left, Louis still called Qin Zhao. If Norma's coma was really because of Qin Zhao's treatment, perhaps only Qin Zhao could wake Norma up now. "Hey, Chen. I think you might have to come to New York." "What? Are you messing with me?" "Norma's unconscious, oh. Chapter 708. "Chen, I didn't mean that, but the doctors are almost sure about Norma's problem, so I need your help. Tell me about Norma's symptoms first." "She's in a coma without any symptoms," Louis said. "The doctors can't tell either. Her body's fine, but she won't wake up." Qin Zhao's heart skipped a beat. "Life and death crisis. Take Norma home immediately. Also, arrange a plane for me." "Wait, I'm not the only one going to New York," Qin Zhao said. "Chen, do you know the reason?" "I'm not sure," Qin Zhao answered. "What do you mean?" "Because it's not an illness or injury. It's something more complicated," Qin Zhao said. "A supernatural power." Qin Zhao wasn't sure because Norma's situation was different from the first time. Board's daughter, Aisha, had been attacked and her life was in danger. Because of Qin Zhao's help, she successfully survived. Then, she was unconscious for 3 days and went through a life crisis. However, Aisha didn't wake up in the middle. Norma had woken up after Qin Zhao's treatment that day. From Louis's words, all the signs pointed to the fact that Norma was going through a life crisis right now. Therefore, Qin Zhao couldn't be sure if Norma was really going through a life crisis. What? What does this have to do with Norma? She's just a normal girl. Okay, no matter what, don't panic. Wait for me to bring people over. Isn't it very troublesome this time? You're actually bringing people over. Some of my subordinates, Qin Zhao said. Oh, disperse everyone in the house so they won't be affected. Will it be dangerous? Of course, if it's really as I guessed, Qin Zhao said. Okay, stop talking. I'll go get people now. Hurry up and prepare a plane for me. Going out again? Fei Lai asked. Yes. The patient I saved yesterday also seems to be showing signs of a life and death crisis. Fei Lai knew what a life and death crisis was. When Aisha had gone through it, she was one of the people involved. It was also that incident that had exposed her to supernatural things. Fei Lai wasn't worried about Qin Zhao. After all, she knew that he'd dealt with it easily. Gaia, where are you now? My gym just closed. What's wrong? There's an operation. It'll take at least 2 days. Get ready. This operation is going to be very exciting. Hearing this, Gaia became excited. Qin Zhao heard Gaia clapping her hands over the phone. 1 hour, LAX airport. Okay. After hanging up, Qin Zhao called West. West, call everyone. There's an operation. Call Aduz as well. Just treat it as one of the benefits of our association. Guild leader, didn't you say it's an operation? West felt that since it was an operation, there would definitely be danger. Would Qin Zhao gather all the normal enemies? Therefore, from West's point of view, this operation must be very dangerous. Perhaps it would be the same as the last time when he fought with his family, and he would have to go on an adventure somewhere. Dangerous for that. Oh. I don't understand. This mission might involve a shaman who awakened on the third day. Puff, a shaman who awakened on the third day. Awakening the tribulation of life on the third day was something that only existed in legends. Guild leader. If you dare to be a deserter, I'll throw you out of the plane. Qin Zhao knew what West was going to say without needing to speak. West's face was covered in tears, thinking about how scary Qin Zhao was. As expected, Qin Zhao was even scarier than the tribulation of life on the third day. A group of people gathered at the airport. Apart from West, everyone was excited. Their big brother security guard, Aduz, was dressed casually. He dragged 2 suitcases behind him, his face filled with excitement. Guild leader, thank you so much. Where are we going this time? When Aduz heard that it was a vacation, he excitedly stuffed all the luggage into the suitcases and rushed to the airport. New York. The others were also excited. New York. Qin Zhao wasn't in a good mood, because every time he went to New York, nothing good would happen. The first time was the grandfather and the evil spirit society. Qin Zhao had gone all out in that battle. The second time was the god of otherworldlings, something that looked like Yogg-Saron. The day before yesterday was the third time. Qin Zhao came and left in a hurry. He'd thought that he would be safe this time. But in less than 2 days, he had to go to New York again. Qin Zhao felt that this time would be even more dangerous than the second time. West frowned. He really didn't want to pour cold water on them. These kids were still too young. Did they really think it was a vacation with the guild leader? President Belia asked. Are you paying for the plane tickets and accommodation to New York? Private plane, luxurious manner, Qin Zhao said. Private plane. President. You mean, we're going to take a private plane? Everyone was excited. Normal people might never have the chance to take a private plane in their entire lives. But now, they had the chance to take a private plane. How could they not be excited? The more benefits Qin Zhao lost, the more uneasy West was. Was he going to save the world this time? I'm willing to even save the world if I can take a private plane, Moore said. His and Morad's injuries were completely healed. They'd heard that when they were injured, the society had a big operation. They beat their chests and stomped their feet, annoyed that they'd missed it. Qin Zhao and West looked at Moore. Their gazes were very unfriendly. Moore didn't know and was still excited. Just then, the captain who'd sent Qin Zhao to New York last time came again. Mr. Qin, we meet again. Oh, hello, Mr. Kid. Is the plane ready? Yes, please follow me. Everyone boarded the plane excitedly. Then they started jumping up and down like Granny Lou entering the Grand View Garden. It wasn't Qin Zhao's first time taking a private plane. The novelty was long gone. Actually, there was no difference between a private plane and a normal plane. Buying a business class ticket wouldn't make much of a difference. Of course, private planes were definitely more enjoyable in terms of service. The stewardess didn't understand why these bumpkins could take a private plane. But to be able to sit here, they must know rich people. Chapter 709. The plane landed smoothly. The people from the supernatural organization still wanted more. They wanted to circle around in the sky a few more times. 3 hours wasn't enough for them. Chen Zhao realized that there were fewer people at the New York airport today. They landed at JFK, one of the busiest airports in the world. Almost 200,000 people took off and landed here every day. The annual capacity was close to 60 million people. But Chen Zhao realized that the departure lounge was a bit empty today. There were only a few people. Just then, the broadcast sounded. Sorry, dear passengers. Due to the heavy fog, the airport will be closed temporarily. We apologize for the delay. So it's the fog. Chen Zhao realized. But New York was a coastal city, so it was rather humid. The clouds and humidity from the sea would often cover the entire city at dawn. But it was night time now, so the runway had lights. The fog was probably very heavy to stop flights at the airport temporarily. They didn't notice it when they landed. When they came out of the airport, they realized that the fog was indeed quite heavy. President, where are we going now? Waiting for the car, Chen Zhao said. Soon, a few luxury cars stopped before them. Hello, Mr. Chen. The boss asked us to pick you up. Okay, help me arrange for them too. Seeing the luxury cars, everyone was very happy. West, on the other hand, had a bitter expression on his face. Just stay here and be happy. You'll all cry later. Wow, such a huge manor. Moore looked at the huge manor in excitement. The president really didn't lie to us. Morid also stared out the window. Don't embarrass yourself there, Jalanash said coldly. We're not here for a vacation. We're here for a mission. What mission? Belia said. I think the president must think that our daily training is too hard, so he found an excuse to call us here. Ha! West glanced at Belia. Looks like you don't know our president well enough. Would he be so kind as to call them to New York with a mission as an excuse? Aren't you being too optimistic? The car slowly came to a stop, and Louis immediately came to greet them. Chen, you're finally here. Louis looked at the strange group behind Chen Zhao. There were both men and women. Two of them were older. Just where did this strange combination come from? They are. I'm here to help, Chen Zhao said indifferently. Them. Help. What could they do to help? Louis was very doubtful. All right, since they were brought here by Chen Zhao, he would believe him for now. Did Norma bring it back? Yes, I've brought it back. It's upstairs now. Have someone make arrangements for them. Let's go upstairs. Louis and Chen Zhao went to Norma's room and saw her lying on the bed. Chen Zhao could vaguely feel a trace of magic in the room. That's right, this feeling was the same as Aisha's last time. At this moment, Norma was really going through a tribulation of life. Chen, how's it going? Pretty much what I predicted, Chen Zhao said. So what do we do now? Send all the servants and bodyguards away. What happens next is not something they can participate in. Why? Tonight or tomorrow night, a large number of evil spirits will attack this place, or more accurately, they will attack her. Ah. Why? Don't ask me why. I want to know why. Anyway, that's what happened. She'll wake up after midnight tomorrow night. You mean, as long as she survives the evil spirit attack, she'll wake up? Yes. Why? Go ask God. Chen Zhao rolled his eyes. Will there be a lot of evil spirits attacking? Probably a lot. Can you handle it? Louis asked worriedly. And you still have to protect Norma. Don't worry. The people I brought are all professionals. Just then, cheers and laughter came from downstairs. Chen Zhao and Louis walked to the balcony and saw that the people from the association had all changed into swimsuits and were playing by the pool. Are they professionals? Louis looked at Qin Zhao. You have to understand that people with abilities are usually different from ordinary people. The night was peaceful. At least, the manor was filled with cheers and laughter. They had never enjoyed such a luxurious lifestyle before. The food and lodging were all the best. With their salaries, they probably couldn't even spend a night here. How could they let go of such a great opportunity? Early the next morning, Louis asked all the servants and bodyguards to go on holiday. President, where are we going to play today? Belio looked at Qin Zhao expectantly. Qin Zhao's face darkened. I asked you to come for a mission, not to play. Can't you see how thick the fog is? Do you believe that you'll die on the road when you turn a corner? The fog in New York was even thicker than last night. Such a heavy fog had seriously affected the safety of traveling in New York. The visibility was less than 5 meters. Even with the headlights on, one could only see a blurry light. This reminded Qin Zhao of the classic horror movie, The Fog. Everyone originally planned to stroll around Times Square today, and then go to the Statue of Liberty to take a look. In the end, the fog ruined their plans. While everyone was making a ruckus, Qin Zhao was calmly cultivating in his room. Of course, this so-called calmness was only for the other people in the association. Fuck. If I'm this diligent at home, I'd probably become an immortal. In the depths of the dirty sewers, there was an underground palace. Of course, it was too much to call it a palace, but it wouldn't be an exaggeration to call it a mansion. This used to be the grandfather's residence. Even though the grandfather was an evil ghost, he still enjoyed things that humans couldn't enjoy. However, not many people knew about this place. Most of them weren't humans either. The grandfather had passed away for a long time, but someone else occupied this place. On the surface, Undine was an ordinary maid in the Clallam family, but she actually had another identity. Probably no one knew that the grandfather wasn't the absolute ruler of the evil spirit society. There was also an unknown existence, matriarch. From her name, one could tell that she had an unbreakable relationship with the grandfather. If the grandfather was the tyrant of the evil spirit society, then matriarch was its brain. Chapter 710. The grandfather's death was also a surprise to grandmother. She had never thought that the grandfather would die so suddenly. It was so sudden that she couldn't believe it was real. However, she didn't gain nothing. After the grandfather died, his assets naturally became grandmother's. The grandfather's death wasn't completely worthless. Most people thought that the grandfather's entire fortune was the evil spirit society. In reality, the evil spirit society was formed by a group of evil spirits mixed with dragons and snakes. Some were strong and some were weak, but they were still evil spirits. And in this city, there were as many evil spirits as one wanted. The evil spirit society could be formed again after disbanding. What was truly valuable was the grandfather's inheritance hidden in an unknown place. The other two factions of the Japanese pirates in New York City, the Witch Society and the Sorcerer Society, were gone. The Evil Spirit Society, the Witch Society, and the Sorcerer Society seemed to coexist. They were formed almost at the same time, and the three had been fighting each other for 200 years. The time of their demise was so close. Although it was an accident, it was also the result of fate. Grandmother felt it was a pity for the grandfather's death, but she wasn't sad. She was even glad that the grandfather was dead. No one could control her anymore. No one would be able to threaten her. Grandmother had always relied on devouring the souls of the living and stealing their bodies to continue her existence. For example, her current body was an ordinary maid. It wasn't easy to find a body that she could maintain for a long time. The great matriarch didn't know where she could find the next body she could live in. And this body was rapidly aging. The body that had been in its 20s now looked like it was in its 30s. This was also the result of being possessed by grandmother. The body was aging faster and faster. According to the normal speed, the body would completely age in about 5 years and lose its function. But now, grandmother had obtained the grandfather's inheritance and even his secret. This secret was also the most valuable thing in the grandfather's inheritance. She no longer needed to spend so much effort to find a physical body to attach herself to as she did in the past. She could exist for a long time like the grandfather. And be as strong as the grandfather. No, stronger than the grandfather. Because she had something the grandfather didn't have. The first mother dug her eyeballs out, but her expression did not change at all. This body did not belong to her in the first place. She was just an outsider who took over the nest. Her soul and body had not fused, so injuries and pain would not affect her. Then, the Great Mother stuffed the eyeball that she had dug out from Norma into her own eye socket. He then used black magic to fuse the eyeball with the body. At this moment, the green pupils began to emit a demonic light. At the same time, lines began to spread around his left eye socket. These lines began to cover the left side of his face. As the original owner of the eyeball, Norma did not know how to use it at all. It was impossible for ordinary people to understand the use of this eyeball. These were the eyes of a nightmare. In Western myths and legends, nightmares were magical beasts that could spread nightmares. In fact, nightmares did not stop there. They liked to enter dreams and use the dream to control the other party. Controlled creatures or people were like walking corpses. 10 years ago, the Great Mother discovered young Norma's special bloodline. Plus, she happened to be residing in Undine's body at the time. Hence, the Great Mother had been waiting for Norma to become an adult. Waiting for her eyes to truly possess the power of nightmares. Not long ago, the long-awaited fruit finally ripened. The Great Mother began to guide the power of nightmares. In fact, what Norma saw was not an illusion. What she saw were scenes and people from other people's dreams. Nightmares could discover who was dreaming nearby, then sneak into their dreams. The Great Mother suddenly frowned. Not enough. It seemed that the power of nightmares was not perfect. That's right, it was because it was just an eyeball. Hence, it could not fully unleash the power of nightmares. In other words, only by gathering both eyeballs could one possess the complete power of nightmares. At this moment, a faintly discernible figure floated in. This spirit was none other than Prague. Prague's life was filled with sorrow. First, he was deceived by the Great Mother. He naively thought that he could obtain the endless wealth of the Clallam family. But from start to finish, he was only a tool of the Great Mother. Even if the plan succeeded, he could not escape the fate of being controlled by the Great Mother. Of course, the current result was still pitiful. Even in death, he could not escape from the Great Mother's control. Master. Prague lowered his head and bowed respectfully. The one he hated the most wasn't Louis who killed him. It wasn't Norma either. It was the Great Mother. He was originally the heir of a small family, and he even had some magic power. Plus, he was engaged to Norma since he was young. If everything went according to plan, he could have married Norma and become the ruler of the Clallam family's vast empire. But he wanted to be the master, not just the ruler. It was this mistake that caused Prague to become someone else's effort. Of course, the Great Mother chose Prague as her subordinate because she was alone, but there were some things that she could not do herself. For example, she could not let the Great Mother appear when she went to negotiate with other evil spirit groups. I told you to contact Tyrant. Is he here? Yes, Master. Tyrant is already waiting outside. Tyrant was an evil spirit from Jersey City, a neighboring city of New York. He controlled an organization similar to the Evil Spirit Society. The name sounded powerful, but anyone could come up with such a name. Tyrant was stronger than regular evil spirits, but compared to the Great Father, he was much weaker. There were many other evil spirit groups like this in New York and the surrounding areas. This time, Tyrant was not the only one invited by the Great Mother. There were also a few evil spirit leaders who were on the same level as Tyrant. As for the leaders of these evil spirit groups, they had gathered here with their subordinates, causing the aura of death to fill the air. They were responsible for the fog that covered New York City. There were at least 3,000 evil spirits in the sewers. After the 3,000 evil spirits gathered together, they did not rest for a single moment. You devour some of them, I'll devour some of you. It had only been a day, but more than 200 evil spirits had already disappeared in the midst of fighting and devouring each other. Chapter 7:11. George sneaked in among the evil spirits. It wasn't his first time in the sewers. After all, he used to be a core member of the Evil Spirit Society. So he couldn't be more familiar with this place. However, today's lineup looked a bit scary. A tall evil spirit passed in front of George. The evil spirit was wearing a suit, but his body was so bloated that he looked like a mountain of meat. George abruptly took 2 steps back. The evil spirit turned to look at George and revealed a malicious smile. George trembled in fear. It was Mr. Violet from the Stylen building. Speaking of Mr. Violet, when he was alive, he was a billionaire who lived up to his name. His company was the largest and most professional demolition company in the world. 18 years ago, he had funded the construction of the Stylen building, but on the day it was completed, he went bankrupt. Then he took his Stylen building, along with more than 300 people in the building, and went to hell. On the day the Stylen building was put into use, he blew it up. This incident shocked the United States and even caused a sensation internationally. No one expected a tycoon to do such a crazy thing. The original site of the Stylen building was still empty. It was said that someone once saw an unfamiliar building at night, walked in, and never came out again. Even in the circle of evil spirits, Mr. Violet was a true monster. As long as one entered his territory, be it human or evil spirit, they would disappear forever. Mr. Violet grinned. Coward, this isn't a place you should be. Just then, another evil spirit group came. This group was led by a young man and woman. The evil spirits behind them were also a group of young people. George vaguely remembered them. They were the West Street Villains. They used to be a rebellious youth group. They believed in Satan and even named their group the Evil Gang. They had been evil scoundrels when they were alive. After the last fire, all the members of the evil gang had been turned into ashes. But their depraved thoughts still existed, so they turned into fiery evil spirits and stayed in the human world. Although there weren't many of them, their individual strength was very strong. The other evil spirits didn't dare to approach the members of the evil gang. They all took the initiative to keep a distance. Following that, many powerful evil spirits or evil spirit groups arrived one after another. In this underground plaza, there were already more than 10 well-known and powerful evil spirits and their subordinates. There were also thousands of evil spirits. When they gathered together, the entire square was filled with an oppressive aura. At this moment, the Great Mother appeared. It was George's first time seeing Mother. However, he recognized the Great Mother's left eye. It was filled with an evil aura. He had never felt this way when he saw Norma. The Great Mother was as tall as the Great Father. But she gave off an oppressive aura that made it hard for people to breathe. George had only experienced this kind of pressure from the grandfather. George's legs couldn't support him anymore. Great Mother sat on the highest stone chair like an empress. I'm glad you're all here. The Great Mother's voice was loud and clear. This made George a little dazed, as if the person sitting on top was the grandfather. I now announce that all of you will become a part of the Evil Spirit Society. The great matriarch spread her arms and loudly proclaimed her idea: I will grant you great power, and the chance to become the ruler of this city. Wait, Mother. I'm not a member of the Evil Spirit Society. Yeah, who do you think you are? What right do you have to control us? Stupid woman. Let me see if you really have the right. Shut up. Great matriarch roared and slammed her fist on the armrest. Boom. A huge impact hit Mother's fist. In an instant, the dozens of evil spirits at the front were crushed. At the same time, a few powerful evil spirits were hit. Their bodies almost shattered. All the evil spirits stared at Mother in disbelief. So scary. Even the grandfather wasn't this scary, right? Mother opened her mouth and sucked in the soul shards. She was even stronger now. Her aura was like that of a wild beast. Even those powerful evil spirits seemed so small and insignificant in front of her. So you're finally willing to calm down and listen to me. We're all humans, but we've broken free from the restraints of our bodies. We're higher than humans, but we can only hide in these dirty sewers. Why? The great matriarch announced her idea loudly. It's because we're undisciplined that we should unite instead of fighting on our own. You've seen it for yourself. The entire New York has been shrouded in our presence since you arrived. As long as this continues, we will become the true rulers. The sunlight will no longer be a threat to you, and the living will become our servants. Now, tell me, what's your choice? If we listen to you, can we kill as we please? A member of the Evil Spirit Society asked. First, you have to prove your worth. If it's just killing, many evil spirits here can do it. How do we prove ourselves? Tomorrow night, you have to break into a manor for me. It's a human manor, but there are many spiritualists in the manor. Kill them all and offer them to me. Only then can you prove the value of your existence. Also, bring me a girl with a green pupil in her right eye. Mother stood up and opened her left eyelid with her finger. Can you feel it? Your own strength. The green light spread among the evil spirits. All of them could feel it. Roar. Right at this moment, all of the evil spirits could feel that their originally thin and weak bodies were expanding at an alarming rate. Regardless of whether they were male or female evil spirits, their bodies had become like bodybuilders, and their auras had skyrocketed several times. Every evil spirit was screaming. Even the stronger evil spirits could feel their power growing. George felt terrible. The power was repelling him. He was repelling it too. There's a traitor among us. Mother looked over. There were a dozen evil spirits there. Like George, they didn't grow stronger. Instead, they felt terrible. George and the dozen evil spirits looked at each other. They understood immediately. They were the guardian spirits of a certain spiritualist. Chapter 7:12. Help! George dashed into the manor. At the same time. There's an evil spirit. West yelled. The people who'd been celebrating in the pool immediately jumped up. Let me do it. This evil spirit is very dangerous. Let me do it. You guys might not be able to handle it. Morid immediately attacked. He didn't waste any words. His 10 fingers suddenly turned into 10 vines. He tied George up and dragged him to the ground. Just as everyone was about to surround George, Gaia looked up at the sky. There's another one up there. That's mine. Everyone immediately shouted, trying to outdo each other. However, the body of the evil spirit in the sky suddenly burst into flames without any warning. What's it doing? Self-immolation. Fuck. It's a fiery spirit, West yelled. The association members who'd been fighting to be first were instantly terrified. Gaia, I'll give you this chance. The fiery spirit charged down from the sky and pounced at George. Gaia yelled and also pounced at the fiery spirit. Out of everyone, only Gaia could touch the flames so fearlessly. Even Chen Zhao's fire resistance wasn't as high as Gaia's. The flames on the fiery spirit suddenly surged and enveloped Gaia. Gaia felt that the fiery spirit was extremely hot, but it wasn't unbearable. Gaia headbutted the fiery spirit's head. Instantly, the fiery spirit's head exploded. But the next moment, the fiery spirit's head reassembled. Gaia, use magic. Physical attacks won't work, the group shouted from nearby. Gaia had the strongest magic power among them, but she didn't specialize in magic. Instead, she specialized in physical combat. Suddenly, Gaia opened her mouth and sucked the flames on the fiery spirit. The fiery spirit struggled with all its might, but it couldn't stop Gaia from sucking the flames away. Gaia's skin glowed with a faint red light. Then, she opened her mouth and spat flames at the fiery spirit's mouth. The fiery spirit struggled violently, but it wasn't that easy to break free from Gaia's bear hug. In the end, the fiery spirit's body turned black, like burnt charcoal. Gaia closed her arms and the fiery spirit's body turned into sparks. Roar! Well done, Gaia. Beautiful. Gaia was the main combat force of the supernatural organization, so there was nothing to complain about when it came to combat. Everyone looked at George, who was bound by Morid. George was shocked. Wait. We're on the same side. I'm on the same side. Who's on your side? Just then, Chen Zhao and Louis walked out. They also heard the commotion outside, so they came out to see the situation. What are you doing? Why are you tying George up? Boss, save me. Mr. Chen, save me. Seeing Chen Zhao and Louis, George immediately cried for help. What's going on? Guild leader, do you recognize this evil spirit? He's Louis's servant, let him go. Everyone looked at Morid. West immediately said, Morid, I've said it many times. Don't attack indiscriminately. Look, you accidentally hurt your own people. Yeah, Jolig said. They're useless in a fight. They'll just bully their own people. Morid. When George was easy to bully, they all fought to be first. George, why aren't you hiding during the day? Chen Zhao asked. George broke free. Mr. Chen, the situation is bad. The evil spirit society is back. The woman who hurt Norma was actually possessed by an evil spirit called Mother. She's very powerful, even more so than Grandfather. She also gathered more than 1,000 evil spirits. The entire New York is filled with a deathly aura. That's why I can come out during the day. Mother. They're going to attack tonight. More than 1,000 evil spirits. Everyone's expression changed. What kind of scale was that? Not only that, Mother seems to have the ability to strengthen evil spirits. Every evil spirit's power has increased by multiple times. Hearing this, everyone's expression changed again. More than 1,000 evil spirits were already terrifying, but the number had increased by multiple times. Even Gaia, who had the most battle experience, had a serious expression. That flame evil spirit is also from the Evil Spirit Society. Yes, they found me. He's here to kill me. What level is he in the Evil Spirit Society? Middle level. There are at least 100 evil spirits of this level. President, my stomach suddenly hurts. I need to go to the hospital. President, I caught a cold playing last night. I still haven't recovered from it. Chen Zhao's gaze swept across everyone. You're eating, staying, and playing. It's not good to leave now. How about we pay? Ha. Chen Zhao looked at everyone. Louis, read the bill to them. It's not much, just $1 million. What? $1 million. We've only been here for less than a day. Why is it so expensive? It's mainly because of the 3 bottles of wine you drank last night. They're all from the French Lafite winery. Each bottle costs $350,000. West was frowning. He'd already guessed that this mission would be very dangerous. However, he'd still underestimated how scary it was. All right, let's eat and continue playing. Prepare for a big battle tonight. Who would still be in the mood to eat now? Chen Zhao and Louis returned to the living room. Louis's expression was even more serious. Chen, what do we do now? What can we do? How about we send Norma out? Definitely not. If not, let's prepare for war. But did we win? I don't know. Chen Zhao shrugged. Oh, send another plane to bring my pets here. Ha! You're still thinking about playing now. They're all real fighters, Chen Zhao said, glancing at Louis. None of them are weaker than you. Oh, I'll send someone to bring them here immediately. While Louis contacted the plane, Chen Zhao called Fei Lai and asked her to bring the pets to the airport. Then, he found Warrencomb's number. Hi, Savior. Chen. Warrencombe was surprised that Chen Zhao would call him. Have you thought it through and decided to join the Holy Knights? Chapter 7:13. President, who are they? West asked in a low voice. Did Chen Zhao summon all of them here just to welcome these people? They look like a regular army. But the weapons in their hands were clearly used to deal with supernatural creatures. Moreover, their auras were many times stronger than the people behind Chen Zhao. Warrencombe walked up with a smile and hugged Chen Zhao. Hi, Chen. Nice to see you again. I really hope that I'll never see you again, Chen Zhao said, sighing. Chen Zhao looked behind Warrencombe. Other than Hawkinson, Wallace, and Yuna, there were 4 other unfamiliar faces. They are new members of the Temple Knights. They look very imposing. Chen Zhao studied the 4 new Holy Knights. There were 3 men and 1 woman. The woman was very pretty. She had silver white hair and skin as white as snow. She was petite and wore black lip gloss. Her gaze was rather aggressive. The silver-haired woman crossed her arms and chewed on her gum. She didn't seem to care about anyone. The other eye-catching person was a big bald head. He looked like the movie star Dwayne Johnson. However, he seemed to like to show off his figure. His chest muscles kept bouncing. Fine. Chen Zhao's figure wasn't bad, but he really couldn't do that. The other person was skinny and wore glasses. He looked a bit wretched. The last newcomer kept following the silver-haired woman, trying to please her. Guys, come and get to know each other, Warrencombe called. The 4 walked up. The silver-haired woman asked, Captain, who are these random people? This was awkward. As the saying went, don't hit someone's face. Don't scold someone's shortcomings. You can easily die on the streets like this, you know. Chen Zhao looked at the people behind him and then at the silver-haired woman. Warrencombe, the Temple Knights indeed need someone with a sharp tongue. You have a good eye. Are you saying that I only know how to talk? The silver-haired woman looked at Chen Zhao proudly. I didn't say that. Chen Zhao waved his hand. Her name is Falmo Isna. She has a very special bloodline, Warrencombe said. Then, he introduced the other 3 people. The one who had clashed with Dwayne Johnson was called Keck, a retired soldier with no special abilities. However, according to Warrencomb's introduction, Keck was a man of justice. It was said that in order to save two unrelated children, he risked his life to fight a roomful of evil spirits. If he hadn't met Warrencomb and the others, he wouldn't be here now. The skinny, bespectacled man was called Puskash, a wizard. There was also the handsome guy who had been fawning over Falcon Isna. His name was Schick Charlton. How is it? Tell me, what's going on this time? There's a woman who awakened on the third night in the manor, Chen Zhao replied. Warrencomb's expression changed. The third night awakening. Tonight is the third night. Warrencomb took a deep breath. Seems like we'll have a big fight tonight. I'm looking forward to fighting alongside you again. That's why I said I hope to never see you again, Chen Zhao said, rubbing his forehead. Everyone gathered in the living room and started preparing for the night's battle. President, I know an amplification magic array, Alice said. It can increase our combat power to a certain extent. Sure, report to West if you need anything. Chen Zhao nodded. It could increase their combat power and was a very practical support. President, my ward dance can amplify a large area now, Belia said. But I need to do it from a high position. Chen Zhao was surprised. He didn't expect Belia to improve so much. In the past, Belia could only amplify one person and the person had to wear a special bracelet. However, if she used the ward dance from a high position in the battlefield, it would be suicide. I can protect her, Keck said. Keck took the initiative to say, Miss, as long as I'm still standing, I'll never let you get hurt. That awakened woman also needs protection, Warrencomb said. We can't stop all the evil spirits. I'll do it, Chen Zhao said. Warrencomb thought for a moment and nodded. Sure, you're strong enough. If you can't stop them, take the woman and run. As long as you can drag it out, you'll be safe. Warrencomb hated Chen Zhao's ability to mess up their mentality on the battlefield. Even when facing the source of the fallen, Chen Zhao didn't go through it properly. President, how about I protect Ms. Norma? You're such an important fighter. You shouldn't just stay in the house, West said righteously. Sure. Chen Zhao shrugged. Go. Oh, Warrencomb, do you have handcuffs? Cuff West and Norma together. If we can't handle it, we'll retreat first. West's face darkened. President, I suddenly feel like you should stay by Ms. Norma's side. We can stay outside. A bunch of trash, Falmo Isna snorted. Isna, shut up. Warrencomb glared at Isna. Chen Zhao pulled Warrencomb over. Warrencomb, this newbie has a bad temper. Did her parents die because of her special bloodline? Huh? How do you know? Did she have a tragic experience when she was young? Warrencomb nodded. Do you know Eastern fortune-telling or Western divination? Then she got hurt and her personality changed. You're right. Is there something wrong with her? No, she will meet a man in the future. That man will shield her from the wind and rain. Even if he has to go against the whole world, he will protect her. Oh right, they must fall in love at first sight. She loves his dominance, and he loves her kindness. Wait. Chen, are you sure this isn't a plot from a novel? What are you talking about? You're mumbling. Farmer Isna frowned at the two. No, nothing. Looking at their expressions, Falmo knew that they were clearly talking bad about her. Okay, everyone, get ready. Chen Zhao stood up and stretched. So early. It's not early. It's past 5. Aren't you hungry? Are you talking about dinner? What else? What do you think I need you to prepare? Chapter 7:14. Chen, there's going to be a big battle soon. Are you sure you want to eat so much? Warren calm looked at Chen Zhao. Chen Zhao had already eaten at least 20 kilograms of meat and other random things. He looked like a starving ghost. Gaia was the same. An entire roast chicken was enough for her to eat for 3 bites. She didn't even spit out the bones. Warren calm had never seen her eat like this before. Eat more so we can go. Chen, I know it's Chinese slang. Don't think I don't know what it means. Warrencom's face darkened. Aren't you afraid of being beaten up for saying something like this before a powerful enemy? Chen Zhao and Gaia basically took care of most of the food. The two of them ate more than the rest of the people combined. What surprised them even more was that Chen Zhao and Gaia didn't show any signs of their stomachs after eating so much. How did you do it? Isn't it too much for you to eat so much? Cage looked at Chen Zhao and Gaia enviously. Too much. I'm only 80% full. Chen, you're probably not even 50% full. Is this appetite magic? Cage asked again. The sky started to darken. The entire manor was silent, as if it was a dead zone. It was oppressive. Chen Zhao and Louis stood on the balcony. Louis wasn't calm. He'd come into contact with the supernatural circle and was even considered a supernatural person. However, he'd never experienced something like this. Chen, can we win? Unbind your right arm. You don't need to suppress it anymore. You should let Blackie move around. Louis thought for a moment and undid the binding. Louis's right arm was wrapped in gauze. It was used to suppress Blackie. As soon as the gauze was unbound, Blackie sent an irritated mental message to Louis. Why? Why did you suppress me for so long? You can cause a scene tonight, Louis said. How does that benefit me? Blackie sent a mental message to Louis. Chen Zhao walked over. Do you need me to talk to it? Chen Zhao grabbed Louis's right arm. Do you smell me? Louis felt it immediately. Fear, intense fear. He has the scent of my kind on him. He killed one of my kind, a complete body. Little Black cried out in horror. Do you want to die? Chen Zhao asked, pulling Louis's arm. Chen, I feel like you're talking to me, although I know you're talking to Blackie, Louis said helplessly. If you can cooperate with your big brother, I'll make the decision. After this is over, I'll let you control Louis's body for 3 days. During these 3 days, you can kill and do whatever you want. Ah. Really? Are you telling the truth? Louis was also astonished. How could this be? It was fine if it was just borrowing his body, but the key was to indulge Blackie. How could Louis not know Little Black's character? If it was given 3 days of freedom, it could create a disaster. Of course it's real. However, if I find out that you don't cooperate at all tonight, forget about 3 days of freedom, you'll have to consider how to die first. Louis was already having a headache. After this incident was over. Louis felt that his right arm was unprecedentedly obedient. Only now did it truly belong to him. Duong, duong, the 8:00 bell rang. The fog became even thicker. It's starting. Chen Zhao looked into the distance. 8:00 is the prime time. Many lights suddenly appeared outside the manor. There were also muffled sounds. It was the sound of cars. Then, everyone saw dozens of cars rushing in from outside. The cars smashed through the iron gates and walls of the manor, and barged in from the outside. Warrencom, who'd been setting up defenses below the manor, saw this. His expression changed immediately. Hurry, get out of here. Warrencom yelled. The cars ran amok in the manor, and some even crashed into the walls of the villa. Bang, bang, there were all kinds of cars. They were all controlled by evil spirits. However, Louis's villa was very big, and the building structure was very strong. The cars could only knock off a layer of dust. "Kill those evil spirits," Warrencom shouted at once. Before the evil spirits could escape from the destroyed cars, Warrencom's group of 8, as well as West's group, started spraying large amounts of magical phosphor. The evil spirits screamed when they came into contact with the phosphor. However, they were expendable and cannon fodder. "How about it?" Louis said proudly. "My house is sturdy enough. It's like a castle." There were many evil spirit cars, but after the cars in front crashed, the ones behind could only crash into the cars in front. Thus, the damage to the manor was very limited. Just as Louis was feeling smug, the sound of a flute came from the fog. Louis's smug expression a moment ago instantly darkened. The sound came from a huge truck, like Optimus Prime in Transformers. Then, they saw a huge truck pass through the fog and charge towards them. An evil spirit definitely couldn't control such a huge truck. The headlights flashed red, like the gaze of a demon. Whoosh, everyone had no choice but to dodge. The truck crashed through the main entrance, and the front of the truck was shoved into the hole. Then, the containers behind the truck spewed out large numbers of evil spirits like a fountain. Fortunately, Warrencom's people were already prepared. "Blizzard!" Falmo Isnif shouted. Magic surged and a thundercloud formed in the air, blocking the exit. With a crash, hailstones mixed with snow fell down. Large numbers of evil spirits were crushed. The others took out their machine guns and kept shooting. Apart from the perverted man, he was injured by the recoil of the machine gun after firing 2 shots. "Move!" Gaia shouted. She threw 2 bottles of magical fuel into the car and followed with a dragon breath. Boom! The entire container exploded into the sky, and hundreds of evil spirits were destroyed as well. "Good job!" Everyone cheered. "This is just the appetizer. Don't celebrate," Warrencom shouted. Warrencom shouted, "Return to your assigned positions. The real battle is about to begin." The fog in the distance turned black. The enemy army was approaching. Chapter 7:15. "Driver, can't you drive faster?" "Miss, it's so foggy, and there's a damn traffic jam. How can I drive fast?" the driver complained. "Also, are you sure your pet won't tear my seat?" Phalai was helpless. She kept looking at the time. She felt that she finally had a use. Even if she didn't join the battle, she could at least bring reinforcements to the battlefield. But now, she was stuck on the road. There was a huge traffic jam in New York today. Every road was blocked. It was especially difficult for Phalai to move on the bus. "If you can reach the destination in 20 minutes, I'll give you 10,000. Phalai gritted her teeth and promised a huge reward. The driver was tempted, but the bus was stuck in the middle of the road. He couldn't go forward or back. What could he do? He could only watch the 10,000 fly away before his eyes. "Forget it, princess. Let's get off and walk." Phalai was anxious. Meanwhile, in Louis's manor, the battle had already started. It was like a real battlefield. Bullets rained and cannons flew everywhere. Wave after wave of evil spirits charged forward. Warrencom and the others relied on their powerful weapons to block the evil spirits in front of the villa. Gaia also had the weapons Warrencom provided. A magic grenade was thrown out. This magic grenade flew at least 200 meters and landed on the outskirts of the battlefield. "Good job, Gaia. Are you interested in joining the Temple Knights and maintaining world peace?" No, Gaia replied. I'm satisfied with my job and environment in the supernatural organization. She raised her gun and shot an evil spirit that pounced at her. Okay. If you're interested, you can call this number. Warrencom raised his hand elegantly. With a bang, an ambushing evil spirit's head was pierced. Wind blade. Jolanash yelled. A gust of strong wind blew. There were more than 10 wind blades in it. A few evil spirits were torn apart by the wind blades. Jolanash, do you want to join the Temple Knights? You are a very good witch, you will make the world remember your name. Ignoring Warrencom, Jolanash yelled, Elemental Stone Man. Up. Warrencom was being snubbed. He wandered around the battlefield while looking for a new target. Hi. Mr. West, are you interested in pre-ordering the Supernatural Organization's magic rating package? I'll give you a magic ring that can amplify your magic slightly. Look at the ring on my hand. Doesn't it look nice? Suddenly, 2 evil spirits attacked West from behind. Be careful. Warrencom was about to raise his gun when he realized the 2 evil spirits were pouncing on West's back. What magic is this? My magic is to strengthen mental power. If it was before, it could only speed up my thinking speed, but since I used the ring, I can slow down other people's thinking. Are you sure you don't want a magic rating package? Wester was only able to use this move because of Belia's battle dance and Alyssa's magic array. Suddenly, a violent explosion occurred 100 meters ahead. Dozens of evil spirits were engulfed by the explosion, leaving nothing behind. Hee hee. Well done. Jolik and Padaloo bumped fists. Warrencom immediately understood. No wonder the 2 of them had been asking for things from them today. They'd been messing with this big guy. Warrencom ran to the 2 of them. Hello, the Temple Knights lack talents like you. Are you interested in joining the Temple Knights to maintain world peace? I'll ask our president. If he agrees, I'll agree to your request. Forget it. Pretend I didn't say anything. If Qin Zhao knew that Warrencom was trying to poach his people, he might not rest until he died. Padaloo took out some more parts, and with a dazzling movement of his hands, a strange mechanical wheel was pieced together by him. The whole process did not take more than a minute. Warrencom gasped. What kind of magic was this? Padaloo used a remote control to control the mechanical wheel. The mechanical wheel sped on the battlefield. 3 gun barrels extended from both sides of the wheel. Warrencom's eyes were filled with envy. The supernatural organization was really full of talents. Every one of them had their own unique points, and every one of them could hold their own. If Qin Zhao knew what Warrencom was thinking, he wondered what he would think. At this moment, Warrencom noticed a figure dashing across the battlefield. That person seems to be called Engelite. He runs really fast. Engelite was in charge of luring monsters. Behind him, there were already a dozen evil spirits. Engelite ran towards Moore's direction. Meanwhile, Moore was also heading towards Engelite. Warrencom was confused. Did the kid have any abilities? He looked braver than the others. Moore rushed past Engelite. The 2 of them brushed past each other, but neither of them stopped. Seeing Moore, the evil spirits that Engelite had attracted immediately changed targets and pounced at him. But the next moment, a huge shockwave and flames exploded from Moore's body. Warrencom was dumbfounded. He saw Moore's body fall to the ground. Fuck, self-destruct attack. Then Engelite went to lure monsters again. After 1 round, he attracted another dozen evil spirits. Warrencom realized that another Moore had run out. Weird. Were they twins? Warrencom couldn't understand, but another person attracted his attention. It was Morid, the head of Riley. Many vines appeared around Morid. The vines kept wriggling on the ground. As soon as an evil spirit approached, they would drill out of the ground and attack the evil spirits. The people from the supernatural organization are so strong. Warren Calm looked at the rooftop. He could vaguely see Belia's figure. At the moment, Kaker was also attacking the evil spirits attacking from the sky. His marksmanship was very good. He could blow up an evil spirit's head with each shot. On the outskirts of the battlefield, Great Mother stood in the darkness, watching everything that was happening on the battlefield. Standing beside the Great Mother was the true force behind this attack. Those who had charged in were all cannon fodder. She could have as many cannon fodder as she wanted. Even if they all died, she wouldn't feel bad. One of you go get rid of that woman on the rooftop. She's releasing some kind of magic that increases their fighting strength. At the same time, she's suppressing our people's fighting strength. Grandmother, let us go, a member of the evil faction said. Chapter 7:16. Just then, a dozen flaming spirits flew over from the sky. Everyone raised their heads to look at the sky, and their expressions changed drastically. Gaia's eyes were filled with urgency. She took 2 steps back and then sprinted. She charged at the mansion and kicked off with both legs. She jumped onto the wall of the 2nd floor and climbed up using both hands. A dozen flaming spirits floated above the roof. Gaia climbed up as well. She had experience fighting flaming spirits. She knew these things were not easy to deal with. A flame evil spirit fell from the sky like a meteor falling to the ground. Oh no, dodge. Gaia could not reach in time. Kek pounced and pushed Belia to the ground. The moment the flaming spirit landed, there was a violent explosion. When Belia's battle dance stopped, the entire battlefield was affected. Everyone felt a wave of weakness attack them. Oh no! Belia immediately realized she had made a mistake. She quickly stood up. I need to put on my clothes. Belia's battle dance was just like that. Once she stopped, she had to start again, taking off her clothes. Just then, another flaming spirit charged over. Gaia had already charged over. Bang! With a single punch, the flame evil spirit's soul was directly dispersed. Roar, come on, you scum! Gaia roared. Let me twist your dick off and blow it up like a balloon. Kek glanced at Gaia. Me? Fine. She looked a little more manly than him. Kek turned to look at Belia. Belia was hurriedly putting on her clothes. One after another, the moment Belia stopped her war dance, the battlefield began to crumble. Help! Angelit suddenly realized that he had slowed down. His mana consumption had also increased. The others were in a similar situation. Everyone had different degrees of problems. The pressure on Warrencomb's people increased as well. Farmer Isna was affected too. Just then, a huge figure walked over from the edge of the battlefield. Mr. Violet appeared. His body was like a mountain of flesh as he strolled toward the mansion. The great matriarch stood on Mr. Violet's shoulder, surrounded by several high-level evil spirits. These ferocious spirits gathered together and walked forward. Their aura was many times stronger than the cannon fodder from before. That bitch, she finally appeared. Lewis could already see Big Mother on Mr. Violet's shoulder from 100 meters away. Although it was already night, Lewis could still see far away with his eyesight. This was the ability that Little Black had given him. Chen Zhao also looked at Matriarch. Matriarch also looked in his direction. The Great Mother opened her eyelids and a strange aura spread out from her. All of a sudden, the evil spirits in the surroundings shuddered. On the contrary, everyone on the defensive side felt uncomfortable. His head felt dizzy, as if he was about to fall asleep. Chen Zhao shook his head. He was affected too. However, he immediately came to his senses. Was this hypnosis? Louis quickly came to his senses. Chen Zhao took out a grenade out of nowhere and threw it at Matriarch. Bang! Mr. Violet blocked the grenade with one hand and protected Big Mother on his shoulder. However, Matriarch was still affected. Her hypnosis was interrupted. Everyone woke up immediately, but the temporary confusion caused the situation on the battlefield to become even more chaotic. Bitch, I'm going to kill you. Louis actually jumped down from the balcony on the second floor and charged at Matriarch. As Louis ran, his right arm kept expanding and was covered in black scales. Hee hee. Matriarch laughed strangely at Louis, who was charging over. Isn't this Mr. Louis? I didn't expect you to be from the spiritual world too. Bitch, go to hell. Louis leaped high into the air. His right arm was like a hammer as it smashed down from above. Mr. Violet raised his arm. His arm was the same size as Louis's right arm. It smashed out heavily and collided with Louis's right fist. Mr. Violet didn't move at all, but Louis was sent flying. Mr. Louis, you look a bit pathetic, Matriarch teased Louis from above. Louis spat out the grass in his mouth. Little Black, did you not use any strength? B****, I used all my strength. You're too weak. What do we do now? Turn and run, of course. I just charged at you fiercely. Now that we've barely touched, I'm going to run. That's too embarrassing. If you die here, I'll die too. I still want to borrow your body for 3 days. I don't want to die here. Matriarch didn't know that Louis was talking to his arm, but she didn't want to waste any more time. Okay, the entertainment ends here, Matriarch said calmly. Violet, move forward and clear everything. Mr. Violet strode forward and unbuttoned his suit. At first, Louis thought he would see something horrifying. But Mr. Violet's suit was empty. There was nothing inside. No, it wasn't nothing. There was also darkness inside. It was so dark that he couldn't see anything. Suddenly, something rushed out of Mr. Violet's stomach. A strange living corpse. The zombie's body was withered, its limbs twisted, and it screamed shrilly. Moreover, he was extremely fast as he charged directly towards Louis. Louis immediately raised his fist and smashed it. The zombie was smashed into pieces instantly. Louis had thought that it was some big move. But this was it. Just as Louis was feeling pleased with himself, the broken Promethean suddenly exploded. Louis was sent flying by the explosion. Just then, more self-destructing zombies rushed out of Mr. Violet's stomach. They swarmed out like a swarm of bees leaving their nest. They started spreading in all directions. Boom, 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 these zombies didn't have any combat power, but their self-destruction was as powerful as a grenade. After holding out for more than an hour, the line finally collapsed. Mr. Violet swaggered forward while the self-destructing living corpses kept bursting out from his stomach. These self-destructing zombies jumped up to the balcony on the second floor. It had to be said that these things were much more mobile than ordinary people. There were so many of them that it was hard to deal with. Oh no! Everyone looked at Chen Zhao on the balcony. Chapter 717. Boom, 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 the entire night sky was illuminated. The surrounding mist was blown away too. At the same time, half of the mansion was gone. Everyone's expression froze. No one could survive such an intense explosion, right? Gaia carried Belia and Kiki. They almost fell into the gap. Louis's face was pale. After all, Norma was behind Chen Zhao. How could Chen Zhao and Norma survive such an explosion? She didn't care about Norma's life or death. She just wanted Norma's eyes. Even if Norma died, her eyes could still be used. Go up. She patted Mr. Violet's head. Mr. Violet's huge body jumped up and landed on the second floor. But the next moment, a terrifying impact was released from the inside and outside. The hundreds of evil spirits in the surroundings instantly turned into nothingness. Boom! Everyone saw a streak of fire shoot out of the room on the second floor. At the same time, they saw a huge body fall from the second floor. Mr. Violet. But now, everything above his stomach was gone. She landed before Mr. Violet's spiritual body. She sucked hard and sucked Mr. Violet's spiritual body into her body. Chen Zhao strolled out of the room. You bastards! Don't you know how to walk through the front door? Everyone stared at Chen Zhao, dumbfounded. Half-naked, Chen Zhao looked down at Matriarch. It was just like how First Mother had looked down on Louis earlier. First Mother lifted her head. She felt angry and dissatisfied at that gaze. Shock filled Farmer Isna's face. Was this person really the same person as the Chen Zhao from before? When Farmer Isna first saw Chen Zhao, she thought that he was frivolous and wouldn't be very powerful. They only thought that Chen Zhao was frivolous and wouldn't be very strong. True power couldn't be displayed through appearances. Suddenly, First Mother opened her mouth and spat out a large amount of black gas. Don't touch the black gas, Farmer Isna cried. Don't touch the black gas, Farmer Isna cried out. Wherever the black gas spread, everything started to corrode. Even concrete and steel bars started to corrode under the black gas. But when the gas reached Chen Zhao, it all disappeared. After absorbing all the black gas, Chen Zhao raised his right arm and pointed at Great Mother. The black gas was condensed into a ball by the mouth of Gluttony. The mouth of Gluttony opened, and the black ball shot towards Great Mother. Madame First's expression changed drastically, and she hurriedly dodged. Although she was the one who released the black gas, it did not mean that she was fearless. That was a filth that could even corrode spiritual bodies. But it was ineffective against that person. On the contrary, his own attack was actually used by his opponent to attack him. Who exactly are you? Matriarch stared at him. I'm your grandpa. Great Mother's face darkened. Warrencom and the rest looked away. As expected, that familiar feeling returned. Don't say that I didn't give you a chance. If you have any big moves, use them now. Chen Zhao's arrogant attitude made people want to beat him up. Matriarch stared at him coldly. You think you've won for sure. That's why I'm giving you a chance to use your ultimate move. The great matriarch took a deep breath, and her body doubled in size. It's this trick again. Grandfather used it once in front of me, but it was useless. Matriarch froze. Was this person the one who killed the grandfather? It seemed that she could not be careless. You think I'm like the grandfather? Matriarch laughed. But I really should thank you. You killed most of the evil spirits. I'll kindly accept their soul fragments. They used the same move, devouring. But the effect was definitely different. The grandfather devoured the evil spirits by force. Each evil spirit was an individual with a mind. Thus, the power that the grandfather could truly use was less than 1/10 of the evil spirits he devoured. But Matriarch felt that she was different, because she was devouring the fragments of the evil spirits. They no longer had minds, but their power had not dissipated. With every breath the Great Mother took, her aura became even more terrifying. Warrencom and the rest retreated subconsciously. Matriarch was becoming more and more frightening. Chen, stop playing. Stop her. You can't let her continue growing stronger. No, I have to keep my word, Chen Zhao said sternly, shaking his head. A normal evil spirit could only bring him ordinary angelic crystals. However, a powerful evil spirit was a different story. After killing the grandfather, Chen Zhao had obtained a perfect angelic crystal. Chen Zhao had used that angelic crystal to kill Logan Samuel. So, the stronger matriarch was, the more benefits he could obtain. Matriarch did not disappoint Chen Zhao in this aspect. She was indeed becoming more and more terrifying. Only when you become stronger will you be qualified to fight me. Those who did not know better would be shocked by Chen Zhao's words. But Warren Calm knew Chen Zhao too well. When he'd fought the source of the fallen, he hadn't been honest at all. Matriarch had indeed become very powerful. So powerful that people feared her. Am I strong enough now? Matriarch looked at Chen Zhao. She could feel that her power had completely surpassed the grandfather's. She'd reached a realm that even the grandfather hadn't reached. Everyone's expression changed. Even Warren Calm thought that Chen Zhao had gone too far this time. He'd allowed Matriarch to continue growing stronger. Now, Matriarch had become an undefeatable monster. I think I went too far. To be honest, Matriarch was indeed strong. But she wasn't as strong as the source of the fallen. Back then, the source of the fallen had beaten Chen Zhao senseless. If Chen Zhao had not played tricks at the end, he might really have been defeated. You're strong. Chen Zhao nodded. Then I'm going to use my ultimate move too. Give me a minute. Matriarch laughed. Do you think you have a minute? How much time do you give me? Don't even think about it. Die. Matriarch roared. Whoosh, suddenly, a voice came from behind Matriarch. Matriarch turned her head in disbelief. She saw her shadow stabbing at her. Moreover, the blade was still embedded in her back, and there seemed to be something on the blade that was drilling into her body. Chen Zhao had already controlled the dark serum to move behind Matriarch. Then he wrapped the bronze sword in the serum and stabbed it into her body. The dark serum flowed along the bronze sword and drilled into Matriarch's body from the wound on her back. Despicable. You despicable bastard. Chapter 7:18. Everyone thought that Chen Zhao's move was too despicable. He didn't care at all. If you're not despicable, are you going to risk your lives with her? I'm going to kill you. Matriarch charged at Chen Zhao crazily. Chen Zhao sent a flying kick at her. She was sent flying. Suddenly, a pair of black wings appeared on Great Mother's back. It was like the wings of an angel in the movies. Everyone was startled. Does the Great Matriarch have other trump cards that she hasn't used yet? Wow. Cool, cool. Chen Zhao stared at Matriarch with glowing eyes. However, the Great Matriarch didn't seem to like black wings. She tried to reach out and remove the black wings. However, her hand really couldn't reach it. You don't like the wings of a fallen angel? I'll change it for you. Then, the black wings on her back turned into wings. Poochie, everyone was about to burst into laughter. What ultimate move? It was just Chen Zhao's trick. At this moment, Big Mother, who had wings on her back, felt extremely awkward. You don't seem to like wings either. What should I change it to? What about the shark's fin? At this time, the wings turned into shark fins. Everyone covered their mouths. They were afraid of attracting the attention of the First Mother. Chen Zhao could afford to offend Matriarch, but they couldn't. But now, Matriarch was really broken by Chen Zhao. How could this guy do this? It was clearly a serious battle. Show some respect to your enemy, will you? Just then, Fei Lai's voice came from afar. Chen, I'm here to help you. Chen Zhao was surprised. Why was Fei Lai here? The moment she saw Fei Lai in the distance, she charged towards her recklessly. Fuck, you're too excited, aren't you? Chen Zhao immediately controlled the dark serum and let it wreak havoc in Great Mother's body. As Great Mother ran, black blood spurted out of her mouth. However, physical injuries would not affect her movements. Fei Lai, dodge. Chen Zhao chased after Great Mother and shouted at Fei Lai at the same time. Just then, Samuel took 2 steps forward. The great matriarch didn't even pay attention to the little kitten in front of her. Or perhaps he noticed it but didn't take it to heart. But at that moment, Great Matriarch suddenly froze. Then, Great Mother's body was pierced by countless black threads. The black thread pierced through Great Mother's body. If the Great Matriarch moved, not only her body, but even her soul would be cut into pieces. Samuel's projection was weak. But he could control the darkness original fluid. Moreover, his control over the dark serum was 100 times better than Chen Zhao's. Fear, this was the first time Great Mother felt fear. An inexplicable emotion. The next moment, the dark original fluid suddenly shrank. It wrapped around Great Mother and twisted her like a fried dough twist. Chen Zhao walked over to Fei Lai and held her hand. Why are you here? I'm here to bring you reinforcements. Thank you. If you didn't bring them here, we would be in danger. Everyone looked at the two. Can you stop lying through your teeth like that? Big Mother is almost broken by you. How was it dangerous? Really? But I didn't seem to do anything. Of course. Ask them if you don't believe me. Chen Zhao turned his head. Everyone nodded their heads. Noticing Chen Zhao's threatening gaze, Chen Zhao frowned. Whoever didn't nod at this moment would be the same as throwing away their heads. Master, I don't think she's dead yet, Samuel said. Chen Zhao opened a portion of the dark serum, revealing Great Mother's head. She wasn't dead yet, but she was close to it. Let's take a photo together. Chen Zhao mentioned Great Mother. Smile. Wait, together. Fei Lai immediately moved to the camera. Everyone was speechless. This couple really deserved to die. If they won, they won. Wasn't it better to kill her with one strike? Why did they have to humiliate her like this? Wait. I want to take a picture with you too, Louis called out. Out of everyone, he hated Great Mother the most. Since humiliating Great Mother could make her suffer, why not humiliate her? Wait. I want one too, West said. President, send me another photo later. When he got the photo, he'd post it on his moments. This is the strongest enemy I've ever defeated. Me too, count me in. Warrencomb's and the others' faces darkened. The people from the supernatural organization were indeed Chen Zhao's subordinates. None of them were good people. Me too. Warrencomb despised them, but he still joined in. Even if he didn't get any credit for killing such a powerful evil spirit, he'd at least put in some effort. When he got the photo, he'd send it to the Holy Knights group to let them know his strength and achievements in the Northern American region. Me too. In the end, no one was left behind. They all took a group photo together. Come, smile. Do you know how to smile? Never mind. It's uglier than crying. The powerful Great Mother didn't even have time to enjoy the pleasure of being strong before she was ruined by Chen Zhao and the others. Crack, everyone took a group photo. Other than the Great Mother, everyone was smiling. Chen Zhao threw Great Mother into the dark serum. Okay, let's clean up the surroundings and see if anyone escaped. There were definitely some that escaped. There were so many evil spirits just now. Some would definitely escape in the chaos. This was unavoidable. Even Chen Zhao couldn't kill all the evil spirits. Unless they all ran like a swarm of bees to seek death. Ms. Fei Lai, are you interested in joining the Holy Knights and protecting world peace with us? Chen Zhao grabbed his bronze sword and chased after Warrencom. Suddenly, Chen Zhao and Warrencom saw a figure in front of them. Hey, there's a little evil spirit here. Hey, isn't that Mr. Prague? Prague turned to run. He was extremely afraid of Chen Zhao. Great Mother was so powerful, but Chen Zhao killed her in the end. If he fell into Chen Zhao's hands, it would be more painful than death. Fortunately, Chen Zhao wasn't interested in him. Chen, catch him, catch him. Louis saw the evil spirit. Catch him. I'll give $1 million. Fuck, what are you talking about? Chen Zhao yelled and charged at Prague. At this moment, a figure caught up to him. Out of all the people, only Enrich could catch up to Chen Zhao. What are you doing? I'm chasing $1 million, Enrich said without hiding anything. Chen Zhao turned to Warrencom. What about you? I'm chasing $1 million too. Aren't you a holy knight? Shouldn't you be chasing justice? Why chase money? Chapter 719. Chen Zhao was speechless. He could only chase after them. Chen, go. Turning around, Chen Zhao saw Fei Lai chasing after him on Princess. Unfortunately, Princess couldn't run at all. In just a short while, he had already disappeared. Chen Zhao could understand Elite, but why was Warrencom also running so fast? Warrencom, are you on drugs? Yeah, we holy knights have special drugs. Do you want some too? With that, Warrencom tossed Chen Zhao a bottle. You could only take one at a time. Don't take too many. Fuck, I don't need it. Chen Zhao sped up. Enrich could go extremely fast for a short period of time, but he couldn't. But he couldn't last long. Warrencom could only keep up with Chen Zhao by taking drugs. But he couldn't last long either. Fuck, why is that evil spirit also running so fast? Prague dove into the sewer. For the $1 million, Chen Zhao did. Warrencom followed too. Warrencom, you're not young anymore. You've taken too many drugs. Be careful. Chen Zhao sped up again. He wanted to catch up to Prague and get rid of Warrencom. But the sewer wasn't easy to walk. Warrencom still chased relentlessly. Chen, give this guy to me, Warrencom said. Everything I do is to maintain world peace. Fuck, I finally know why characters like you are always villains in novels. Chen Zhao wouldn't give up the million so easily. At the same time, he mocked Warrencom, you're so righteous even when eating shit. But soon, the path under their feet disappeared. The two stopped immediately. The sewer before them was completely circular. If they wanted to continue, they had to wade in the water. For justice. Warrencom decided first and jumped into the dirty water. For $1 million. Chen Zhao didn't want to give up. Prague was in a panic now. He kept running toward the headquarters of the Evil Spirit Society. There were still some evil spirits here. They'd been guarding here. Someone's here. Hurry and stop them, Prague ordered. Prague wasn't strong, but the evil spirits all knew that he was Matriarch's trusted follower. Even in the world of evil spirits, social classes still existed. Chen Zhao and Warrencom walked like there was no one there. To them, they would rather face evil spirits than tread on dirty water. Most of the time, you never knew what was slippery under your feet. Of course, they would rather not know. Chen Zhao kicked open a stone door. Beside him, Warrencom complained, Chen, slow down. The dirty water is splashing on my face. Why are you still here? The two of them finally landed, but the two of them had already become stinky. They both looked at each other in disdain. Chen Zhao looked around. This was an underground building that had been excavated from the sewers and rebuilt. However, there were many corners and corners here. Let's split up, Chen Zhao said. It's whoever gets caught. Fine, if I catch it, don't try to snatch it. I'm not that tasteless. Chen Zhao pouted. This was the headquarters of the Evil Spirit Society, and it wasn't small. There were dozens of rooms crisscrossing each other, and they were all electrified. Chen Zhao didn't understand why these evil spirits wanted electricity. There were also many evil spirits hibernating here. However, as long as they appeared before Chen Zhao, he would kill them without exception. Chen Zhao didn't run around without a plan. Instead, he had someone guide him. It was simple. He just had to catch an evil spirit. Chen Zhao used the dark serum as a leash to lead the evil spirit. Finally, under the guidance of a guide, Chen Zhao found a heavy stone door. It was very heavy, at least 10 tons. Chen Zhao clenched his fists and pressed them against the door. The eye of power opened. Whoosh, under Chen Zhao's power, the door started to open. Chen Zhao saw that Prague was in the room behind the door. However, Prague's spirit body was spasming right now. His aura was very similar to mother and grandfather. He also had an evil aura. Chen Zhao saw a stone platform behind Prague. There was a black key on the platform. The black key was emitting wisps of black gas. However, the black gas was absorbed by Prague. Prague suddenly looked at Chen Zhao. A hint of fierceness flashed across his eyes. Chen Zhao twitched his lips. Had he forgotten who he was after just 2 breaths? Prague wasn't grandfather or mother. Even if he had the same opportunity, he was still too weak. The threat posed by a tiger on stimulants and a cat on stimulants was not the same concept at all. Chen Zhao walked toward Prague. I'm going to kill you. Prague pounced at Chen Zhao. Whoosh, whoosh, the dark serum had already trapped Prague. He was dragged to the ground. Chen Zhao didn't even change his path. He stepped on Prague's spirit body and walked forward. Chen Zhao came to the black key and looked at it. After looking around, he squatted down before Prague. Look, what's this? What? As expected, others couldn't see the key after Chen Zhao touched it. Prague had been absorbing the black gas from the key earlier, but after Chen Zhao held it, he couldn't see it at all. Whatever. It's nothing. A while later, Rollercoasters found the place too. Seeing Chen Zhao dragging Prague out, he immediately called out, Chen, we're working together. You should give me half of this guy's reward. I think it's better to kill you. Chen Zhao glared at Rollercoasters. He'd worked so hard to catch Prague. How could he give half of the reward to someone else? Chen, there's something I didn't tell you. Actually, I have late-stage stomach cancer. Because I don't have money, I haven't been treated, I have a special medicine. Do you want it? What special medicine? Go drink the dirty water outside. I guarantee it'll work. If it doesn't, come to me. Rollercoasters didn't seem to know that he was a doctor. Everyone with some understanding would know the symptoms of late-stage stomach cancer, let alone Chen Zhao. This was especially evident from the complexion of the face and the condition of the skin. When Chen Zhao dragged Prague out of the sewers, it started drizzling again. The people of New York had a deep fear of rain. Now, almost every household in New York City had a kayak. Chapter 720. Norma woke up slowly. But the moment she opened her eyes, she suddenly saw Prague's hideous face. She had never seen before, but she recognized it at first glance. I'm going to kill you. It's all because of you. It's all because of you. You killed me. I'm going to kill you. Prague yelled, brandishing his claws. Ah, Norma, don't be scared. I'm here to save you. Just then, Louis rushed in from outside and sent Prague flying with a punch. Just like that, Louis pressed Prague to the ground. One punch, another punch, and another. Prague pushed Louis away and flew out of the balcony. Louis finally stopped and didn't chase after him. Uncle. Norma jumped into Louis's arms. Louis was unprecedentedly satisfied. Don't be scared. I'll always protect you. Norma didn't see Prague fly away from the balcony. A vine wrapped around him and dragged him to the ground. A group of people surrounded Prague and started punching and kicking him. Aw. You said you'd let me go after this. Prague screamed. Who let you run? Warren Calm shouted. Who let you run last night? Give me back $1 million. Chen Zhao and Fei Lai didn't care at all. They were playing with their pets on the lawn. In the afternoon, Chen Zhao, Fei Lai, and the members of the supernatural organization returned to Los Angeles. President, I think we missed someone. On the plane, West came to Chen Zhao's side. Really? Aduz went out to play for a day yesterday. He didn't come back last night. Chen Zhao slapped his head. Right, Aduz. Whatever. Let Louis take care of him and give Aduz a few more days off. When he's done playing, we'll send him back. The plane landed safely. After a long journey, everyone felt a sense of relief when they returned to land. On the way home, Chen Zhao received a call from Winnip. Hey, Chen. Yeah. Daydream's going on show today. Then let it be. Chen Zhao didn't care. I'm just telling you. Nothing else. Sacramento Park, Mr. Alton, the government will be in charge of security, right? Winnip asked. Of course, there's absolutely no problem. I've already hired a security consultant from Blackwater. Alton patted his chest. At that moment, Alton saw a helicopter flying over their heads with something dangling below it. What is that? A super safe provided by Tong Hui, Winnip said. The safe slowly landed on the ground. Then, the staff came over to check if the safe was working properly. Finally, under the protection of a large number of guards and security, Daydream arrived. Daydream was put into the safe. The safe weighed 2 tons, and the 4 corners of the safe were nailed to the ground. On top of it was a glass cover that could withstand the close-range explosion of TNT. Below it was a mechanical mechanism. Once the glass cover was attacked, it would activate. The mechanism would be activated and Daydream would be kept in the metal safe below. Debugging complete. Boss, come over and set the password, Howard said. Done. After setting the password, Winnip nodded at Alton. It was time for the park to open. A large number of tourists swarmed into the park. Sacramento Park was a public park on weekdays, but the number of visitors was quite low. Almost no one would come here to play. But today, the first batch of tourists reached 1,000. Is that a daydream? Is this bottle really worth 100 million? Maybe it's just an empty bottle. But this bottle is really beautiful. What material is it made of? It wasn't just the tourists. Even a few TV stations came. They were all hired by Alton. They kept filming Daydream on the safe. There was also the live host introducing the information about Daydream without stopping. At this moment, a gunshot rang out without warning. A group of armed terrorists attacked. The scene was chaotic. After the terrorists fired again, the tourists finally realized something. Don't move. Dozens of tourists couldn't escape. They were surrounded by the terrorists. There were security guards at the scene, but they didn't dare to open fire in such a chaotic situation. Just then, the police arrived very quickly. After all, these terrorists were brazenly attacking a public place. The entire park was surrounded. People inside, listen up. You've been surrounded. Put down your weapons immediately and surrender. The police's announcement didn't make the terrorists put down their weapons. What they got in response was the sound of machine guns. Boss, the safe can't be opened. It can't be opened. Why can't it be opened? That safe is the latest design from Tonghui Company. The program can't be opened at all. Fuck. The mercenary leader's face darkened. He turned to look at a reporter. The camera was still on. Who's broadcasting? The mercenary leader asked. None of the reporters dared to answer his question. Call your TV station boss immediately. Tell him to start the live broadcast immediately. Huh? Now, immediately, right now. The guns were aimed at the reporters and hosts. They could only make the call obediently. Boss, what do you want to do? The mercenary didn't understand. The TV station quickly replied. Start the live broadcast. They had to start the live broadcast. This was big news and they weren't there. Why didn't they start the live broadcast? Sir, our TV station has started the live broadcast. Me too, the mercenary leader finally nodded in satisfaction. Can I speak now? Turn the camera over. This is my first time on TV. I wonder how many people can see me. The mercenary leader said to the camera, I'm going to call the boss of Mara's supermarket, Madam Winnip. If she doesn't appear in 10 minutes, I'll start shooting the hostages. The countdown starts now. Winnip was also watching the live broadcast. Howard, Kareem, and Kane's expressions darkened. Boss, you can't go. These people kill without batting an eye. Yes, it's too dangerous. We can't go. Yes, we have to go. Winnip's expression was cold. They're starting the live broadcast to force me to appear. If I don't, I'll become everyone's target. Then our supermarket's reputation will be ruined. Oh. Chapter 721. Winnip shook her head. I have to go. Howard, Kareem, and Kane couldn't stop Winnip, so they could only go with her. Winnip went to the periphery of the scene and said with a megaphone, I'm here. What do I have to do for you to release the hostages? Miss Winnip, our target is just this bottle of wine. Tell me the password, or I'll shoot the hostages. Winnip was silent for a while. I can tell you the password, but you have to ensure the safety of the hostages. Winnip actually didn't care about the hostages' safety, but it was a live broadcast. As a businesswoman, she had to think about maximizing profits at all times. Of course, I promise you that as long as the wine is here, the hostages will be safe. The password is G456M54542S1FSH3Y. It was a random password without any pattern. Boss, the safe's password is open. Don't open it yet, the mercenary leader said. Put on your gas mask. The moment the safe was opened, the smell of wine filled the air. In an instant, everyone around them was drunk. The mercenary leader picked up Daydream and licked his lips. Is this Daydream? Even through the bottle and wearing a gas mask, I can still smell the wine in the bottle. The aroma of the wine started to spread. Soon, everyone in the park was drunk. The audience in front of the TV was dumbfounded. Was this wine or poisonous gas? The smell was too scary. Just then, a helicopter stopped in the sky. "Let's go." The mercenaries all boarded the helicopter. The helicopter took off. The audience in front of the TV watched them leave. But just then, the helicopter suddenly exploded in the air. Then, the flames mixed with the strong aroma of wine spread out completely. Then, it spread in all directions with the wind. "Smells so good." "What's that smell?" "Is it the smell of wine?" "Where did the wine smell come from?" "This smell is so nostalgic." "Whose wine is this?" "Why do I feel like crying?" The entire Sacramento was filled with the smell of wine. More people knew where the aroma of the wine came from. It was that bottle of Daydream. But more people found it unbelievable. The aroma of a bottle of wine actually covered the entire city. Those who were drunk in the park were all sent to the hospital. When ambulances arrived at the scene, they had to wear gas masks. However, after these people were examined in the hospital, they found that they had no signs of poisoning at all. Every one of them was very healthy. The United States was in an uproar. A bottle of wine had triggered a terrorist attack. A bottle of wine broke the hearts of the entire city. Fuck. That's my wine. It's my Daydream. Fuck. Modulo was in front of the TV, which he had smashed in his rage. But now, this bottle of wine was gone. It was supposed to be his, but now it was shared by the entire city. As the mayor of Sacramento, Alton didn't know whether he should be happy or sad. It had been a day since the incident, but the impact of the incident was still there. Hundreds of thousands of tourists were rushing to Sacramento. The number of tourists increased by 100 times in the past. But now, WinNip was demanding compensation from the city. $100 million worth of wine was shattered just like that. But the city really couldn't afford it. "Mr. Alton, your government must pay for our supermarket's losses." WinNip barged into Alton's office. "Ms. WinNip, this isn't the government's fault. You were the one who said that you were fully prepared, but what happened?" WinNip said relentlessly. "In the end, you let so many armed robbers break into the exhibition. You were responsible for the security. But my people didn't do anything wrong. At least in the end, if the robbers hadn't threatened with the hostages, they wouldn't have had a chance to get the wine. I saved the hostages." Actually, after this incident, Mara's supermarket's name was already imprinted in the hearts of all Sacramento people. After all, WinNip had lost $100 million to save the hostages. So, WinNip actually didn't lose anything. In fact, it could even be said that she earned. No one was a fool, but this loss was obvious. Thus, WinNip could rightfully demand compensation from the city government. The city government can't afford that much money. Alton was planning to act shamelessly now. He had no choice. $100 million. Even the city government of an international metropolis like Los Angeles might not be able to afford that much. "Mr. Alton, are you planning to refuse compensation?" "I can't afford that much anyway. Even if you kill me, I won't be able to." "Then for the next bottle of Daydream, which is also the last bottle, I'll consider appearing in other cities. I promise that it will never return to Sacramento." Daydream's name seemed to be inlaid with gold. Who didn't know that Daydream was a true godly wine? According to preliminary research, more than 10,000 people had cried yesterday. Crying people could be seen everywhere on the streets. And the topic of Daydream didn't decrease. Instead, it became more and more popular. Even experts and scholars came to discuss the magic of this bottle of wine. They also used a scientific perspective to try to unravel the secret within. Because of yesterday's incident, how much profit did Sacramento bring? A city with less than 500,000 people now had more than 200,000 tourists every day. Now, almost every street was building hotels and hotels to satisfy the number of tourists. Sacramento Park, in particular, had become a popular attraction. The strong smell of wine still lingered there, especially at the scene of the helicopter crash. Although the corpses had been cleared, the wreckage of the helicopter was still there. That place became a must-go place for everyone. Everyone who went there would cry. Because of this, Sacramento gained the reputation of being the city of wine. Compared to yesterday, the smell of wine was fainter, but people could still feel the touching aroma. If Win Nip announced that Daydream would leave Sacramento due to the irresponsibility of the city government, then Sacramento would suffer a great loss. So, Alton couldn't defend Win Nip at this time. "Ms. Win Nip, let's talk. Don't be so agitated. Sit down first and let's talk." Chapter 722. Then tell me, how are we going to solve this? Win Nip was aggressive. She had the upper hand now. She didn't need to care about Alton's feelings at all. Even if he was unhappy, he had to hold it in. The city really can't afford 100 million. Not now and not in the future. The city's annual budget was no more than 5 million. How could they afford 100 million? So you're going to be shameless. Win Nip had just sat down when she immediately jumped up again. Sit down, sit down. I said I'm not trying to be irresponsible. Alton also had a headache now. He couldn't afford 100 million no matter what. But no matter what, he had to calm Win Nip down first. After all, Win Nip's influence wasn't just limited to being a businessman. She had an extremely high reputation in Sacramento. Now, all the citizens of Sacramento went to Mara's supermarket to buy things. This caused the other supermarkets to close down. 90% of the citizens of Sacramento went to Mara's supermarket. 99% of the tourists who came to Sacramento were there for Mara's supermarkets. The other supermarkets had less than 10% of the citizens. How could they survive? It couldn't be helped. Mara's supermarket's reputation was too great. Also, because of Mara's supermarket and Daydream, how many benefits did it bring to the citizens? If Win Nip said that she wanted to run for mayor, Alton would probably be fired immediately. If Alton chased Mara's supermarket away now, he would be beaten to death by the furious citizens when he walked out of the city hall, let alone continue being the mayor. The land in White Coral Street. I can help you with that land. You said last time that you might not be able to help. No, you remembered wrong. I said definitely. I can definitely do it. What about the price? Half for sale, half for free. Alton had no choice now. He could only clench his teeth and promise. No matter what, he had to calm Win Nip down now. Fine, we'll stop here for today, but this doesn't mean it's over. Before I get a definite answer, I'll keep the right to pursue this. Hey, Chin. Win Nip called him. Win Nip, did you arrange that? Chen Zhao had communicated with Win Nip beforehand, but he didn't know what arrangements Win Nip had made. Actually, I arranged half of it. What do you mean? I did arrange people, but I didn't arrange them, Win Nip said. Chen Zhao was completely speechless. How could there be such a coincidence? I installed a remote-controlled bomb in Daydream's bottle, but I didn't expect that this group of people would actually take a helicopter, but the effect was even better than what I had planned. All right. Since they were real robbers, Chen Zhao didn't want to say anything else. By the way, I plan to set the price at $1 billion next time. Suit yourself. When are you coming to get the wine? Right now, I'm being watched by a lot of people. No matter who I send to get the wine, it's not safe. It's best if you bring the wine over yourself. Last time, because no one knew about Daydream's existence, Winnip sent Kareem, Howard, and Kane. It was very safe. But it was different now. Winnip and the people around her were being watched closely. People from all walks of life wanted to know where Daydream came from. According to Kareem and the other two, there were a few people standing next to them when they went to the washroom. It wasn't just rich people who wanted to know where Daydream came from. Even the government wanted to know. After all, a bottle of Daydream had created the current Sacramento. The reputation of Fragrant Wine City brought intangible wealth to Sacramento. These benefits weren't directly distributed to anyone, but the citizens of Sacramento could clearly feel it. With more tourists, the number of jobs increased correspondingly. The number of people at the tourist attractions also increased. The governments of other cities obviously wanted the same effect. Especially the second and third-tier cities. Most of them were like Sacramento, in a very awkward position. They didn't have any resources or tourist attractions. Of course, they also wanted to use Sacramento's opportunistic method. Steven's celebrity effect was also very obvious. Now everyone knew why Steven was willing to spend $100 million for this bottle of wine. Because of this, Chen Zhao had to personally deliver Daydream. It wasn't safe for anyone to take the wine. It was safest for Chen Zhao to deliver it himself. However, Chen Zhao didn't stay in Sacramento. He took a plane back. On the second day after Daydream was delivered, Winnip and Mara Supermarket announced the news. The second bottle, which was also the last bottle of Daydream in the world, arrived. However, this bottle would be protected by the insurance company. Because of its uniqueness, the price was $999,999,999. But this was only the price. More importantly, this bottle only had a price, not a sale. Winnip also claimed that this bottle of Daydream wasn't just the last bottle of Daydream. It was also more perfect than the first bottle. This bottle could make the entire city drunk. Every year, there would be an aroma tasting event. The first aroma tasting event would be held in 3 days. This event was the result of Winnip and Orton's discussion. White Coral Street would be sold to Winnip at a low price. Winnip would, of course, return the favor. This event would be held in Sacramento's largest stadium. For this event, millions of people flooded into Sacramento. This was already more than the entire population of Sacramento. Even if they couldn't afford to drink Daydream, they could at least smell the wine. Not only were all the hotels and motels in Sacramento full, but the surrounding cities were the same. Almost all the TV stations in America were gathered in Sacramento, wanting to see this grand event. Suddenly, Chen Zhao received a transfer of $6 million. The recipient was Winnip. Winnip, what's this money? The fee for the TV station's broadcast rights. This is yours. Okay, this was an unexpected fortune. Isn't the broadcasting fee for those sports games hundreds of millions of dollars? I think the scale of this wine tasting event is huge. Why is the price so low? Chapter 723. Fine, Chen Zhao was satisfied with the $6 million. He wouldn't get this much every year if he did it properly. He couldn't get $100 million or $1 billion in one go, but it was good to keep it going. It wasn't bad to keep it going. In the past few days, Chen Zhao had been studying the Black Key. It seemed that evil spirits could use it directly. Of course, the way they used it might not necessarily be the correct way. But at least it gave Chen Zhao an idea. Blackie, pull my soul out of my body. I can't do that. Blackie shook his head. You're a living person. I can't pull a living person's soul out of their body directly. You can't do anything. I can't, but I heard that there's a spell in the East that can make your soul leave your body. Chen Zhao's heart jumped. Li Qing. Chen Zhao immediately got in the car. Maybe she had a way. Seeing Chen Zhao come in, Ethan went up and kicked him. Fuck, how long has it been since you last came? Ignoring Ethan's kick, Chen Zhao picked up the hamburger on the table. Where's Auntie Li? Upstairs. Didn't you come to find me? Of course I came to see you. Otherwise, why would I bring you a present? Chen Zhao put a bottle of purple brew on the table. Ethan picked it up. Is this wine? Fuck. Why can't I stop crying? What a strong aroma. Just then, Li Qing came down. She was twisting a mop. Mr. Chen, why are you here? Auntie Li, I brought you a present. Of course, Li Qing had to bring a present for Ethan. Chen Zhao glanced at the crying Ethan. The purple brew was very effective on him. But it had no effect on Li Qing. She was also a spiritualist. Of course, in Chinese terms, she was called a charlatan or a cultivator. The wine is full of spiritual energy. Mr. Chen, it's too expensive. I can't take it. Take it. Every one of my friends has a share. Chen Zhao pushed the purple brew to Li Qing. Auntie Li, I'm here to ask you some questions. Go ahead. Auntie Li, can your soul leave your body? You're talking about primordial spirit projection, right? Li Qing corrected. What's the difference? Chen Zhao asked, confused. He didn't understand. Only after a person dies will their soul leave their body, and the only thing a cultivator can control is their own primordial spirit. Li Qing said. But I've seen living souls before. Those people didn't die, so why can their souls leave their bodies? A living soul is not a soul either. Taoism talks about 3 souls and 7 spirits. The 3 souls are further divided into embryonic light, refreshing spirit, and nether essence. Li Qing explained, embryonic light is self-consciousness, or divine sense. This is the so-called living soul. If a living person is unconscious, there's a chance that their soul will leave their body. Refreshing spirit is wisdom and intelligence, corresponding to the primordial spirit. It's also the only thing that can leave one's body. Nether essence is the 7 emotions and 6 desires, referring to the god of lust. It can't leave the body either. Once it leaves, the person will turn into ashes, like grass, wood, earth, or stone. Li Qing paused and continued, in Confucianism, there's the heavenly principle and extinguishing human desires. It's actually cultivating the primordial spirit. Extinguishing the god of lust is emotionless and desireless, reaching the great Tao of heaven. Taoism cultivates the 3 into 1, merging them into the world and reaching the celestial realm. Auntie Li, do you know primordial spirit projection? Chen Zhao asked. I don't, and my cultivation isn't high enough. Li Qing shook her head with a bitter smile. But I see that Mr. Chen's spiritual qi is abundant and his spiritual platform is shining brightly. Your cultivation is many times higher than mine. I think it's high enough. But I don't know how to do it. Is there a trick? There's no primordial spirit projection in the Qingyi sect. I've only read some books. It's very dangerous. The first time the primordial spirit leaves the body, it'll be attacked by astral winds and malice. Only people with great wisdom can practice this. Li Qing looked at Chen Zhao worriedly. Mr. Chen, if it's not necessary, don't practice this dangerous spell. Li Qing really cared about Chen Zhao. After all, she was alone now. Chen Zhao had helped her greatly, so she didn't want him to encounter danger. Actually, I'm just curious. I don't have to practice it. Chen Zhao chuckled. After hearing that the risk of primordial spirit projection was so high, Chen Zhao wanted to give up. But curiosity gnawed at Chen Zhao's heart like ants. Chen Zhao wondered if he should ask Old Turtle. After all, it was an old monster that had lived for tens of millions of years. Old Turtle didn't know any spells, but he might know a little. After saying goodbye to Li Qing and Ethan, Chen Zhao went home and jumped into the river map. Recently, Chen Zhao had gone to the river map many times. He was more familiar with how to enter and leave the map. Chen Zhao, how many years has it been since you last came to see me? I've been so bored. For Old Turtle, 1 day in the outside world was 1,000 days in the river map. 1 month in the outside world was a few decades in the river map. Chen Zhao hadn't come for more than 10 days. Old Turtle was already very bored. I brought you some new games. The consoles are all broken. What's the use of just games? Didn't I leave you 20 consoles last time? They're all broken. Of course. Can't you imagine how long it's been since you last came? Old Turtle said impatiently, prepare 100 game consoles for me next time. Also, prepare more game controllers for me. Chen Zhao earned a lot, but he also spent a lot of money. He had to send all kinds of resources to Old Turtle every few days. Every time, it was tens of thousands of dollars. Forget it, who asked him to be the boss? Old Turtle, can I ask you something? You can do primordial spirit projection, right? Yes. It's a small spell. It's not hard. Can you teach me? Chen Zhao stared at Old Turtle, his eyes shining. I can't, unless you want to die. Why? The first time your primordial spirit is out of your body, the astral winds and external malevolence can kill you. Then what can you do? I can't. Human primordial spirits are too weak. If you have a way, I'll come in once a day and stay with you for at least 10 days each time. I'll play whatever you want. Wait. Let me think. Old Turtle thought for a moment and said, you can cultivate primordial spirit projection in the river map. There are no astral winds or malevolence. Can't I use it outside? If you can find a treasure that can protect the primordial spirit, yes. Do you have one? No. Chen Zhao was a bit disappointed, but he could at least use primordial spirit projection in the river map. Chapter 724. Tell me the method. Are you going to cultivate today? It's better to be early than late, Chen Zhao said impatiently. You need help to leave your body for the first time. Do you want to start now? So soon. You said it too. It's better to be early than late. Do I need to prepare anything? No, you just have to stand still. Leave the rest to me. I'm just going to stand still. Yes. Old Turtle nodded. Chen Zhao looked at Old Turtle. It was like he was doing Tai Chi right now. Old Turtle really did look like a sage. Wait. Why did the style change? How did Tai Chi suddenly turn into Bruce Lee? Chen Zhao's chin was hooked by a fist. Left hook, right hook, stop. Stop, Old Turtle didn't give Chen Zhao a chance to breathe. You. Forget about Bruce Lee. Why do you have the King of Fighters moves? Wait, Old Turtle finally stopped. Chen Zhao heaved a sigh of relief. Thankfully, he'd almost been killed by Old Turtle. Old Turtle, let's be serious, okay? Don't mess around like this. I'm serious. Old Turtle looked at Chen Zhao seriously. Serious? You're not going to beat me half to death, are you? Yes. But you didn't succeed after so long. Who told you I didn't succeed? But I don't feel anything at all. Look back. Chen Zhao looked back and saw another him sitting on the ground. His eyes were white and his mouth was open. Saliva dripped from the corner of his mouth. Fuck, Chen Zhao's face was filled with shock. So, he was already a spirit now. How is it? Very accurate, right? Old Turtle said proudly. I hit your spirit out immediately. It was like he'd done something incredible. Chen Zhao was dumbfounded. What do you mean by hit my spirit out immediately? What else can I hit out? Okay, your spirit is out. I don't understand why you're practicing this. This was Chen Zhao's first time his spirit had left his body and existed as a spirit. However, he wasn't any different from before. It felt almost the same, except that his body was light as a feather, as if he could float at any time. Chen Zhao approached his body and tried to see if he could control the spatial ring. Yes, the space ring was still under his control. Chen Zhao took out the black key. However, the moment the black key appeared, the black key suddenly flew toward Chen Zhao's chest like a magnet and stuck to his primordial spirit's chest. Fuck, what's going on? The black key slowly fused into his primordial spirit. Then, his primordial spirit turned black. Fuck, I'm not going to turn black, right? Ha! Old Turtle turned around in confusion. The changes in Chen Zhao's primordial spirit surprised him. Did you use some kind of essence soul treasure? Chen Zhao's heart jumped. The black key should be used on the primordial spirit. I'm not sure either. Something fused with my soul just now. Chen Zhao asked worriedly, I'm so black right now. Will I turn black like in movies or novels? And then disown them? Old Turtle rolled his eyes. Young man, you've read too many novels. But my primordial spirit has turned black. I feel like I've become really evil. Who said black is evil? Your primordial spirit has clearly strengthened. It should be because the treasure you mentioned fused with your primordial spirit. But then again, what's the point of strengthening the primordial spirit? The simplest way to explain it is to make you smarter. Then what if I make it more complicated? It still makes you smarter. So it's useless for power or cultivation. Who said that? Then what's the point? It's just not obvious. Old Turtle was speechless. No wonder the ancient Confucian scholars were all so good at talking, but they were all weak. Every family has their own techniques. Even a divine beast like me has different techniques, not to mention sects, Old Turtle said. But your primordial spirit and body are different from normal people. It's probably unprecedented in history. You might be able to establish your own sect. Don't. Let me follow the path of others. I'm not planning on establishing my own sect. How unambitious. Since ancient times, those who were ambitious and unique usually died very miserably. Actually, the path of cultivation is nothing more than immortal primordial spirit, immortal body, and immortal mind. These three have countless branches. What about you? I guess my body is immortal. Did you do it? No. You've lived for tens of millions of years and you still haven't done it. It's not as easy as you think. Some people have an epiphany, while others are stuck at the bottom of an abyss. What will you do when you succeed? Become a god. I didn't succeed. How do I know what will happen if I succeed? Will it be like in the novels, becoming a part of this world? Kid, you must have gone silly from reading novels. If that's what cultivators pursue, then only fools would cultivate it. That's what you read, kid. But don't Taoists talk about the unity of heaven and man? That's just beautiful words. It's actually stealing the power of heaven and borrowing the power of the earth. When you reach that realm, you can use the power of heaven and earth as you please. Aren't you awesome? But you have to return what you borrowed. But according to the unity of heaven and man, I'm borrowing from you because we're family. Why should I return what my family uses? You're just lying to yourself. You can't say that. The laws of heaven and earth exist, especially for cultivators like you. You should respect heaven and earth. What's yours is yours. What's borrowed has to be returned. Even if it's just a title, it's better than nothing. You can be shameless to the bank, but you can't be shameless to the world. Then let's not cultivate the unity of heaven and man. Let's do something else. Look, you just said you don't want to be unique. Now you want to establish your own mountain. What do you recommend? For example, you don't have to do anything or use a lamp as a companion. You can just eat and sleep and cultivate. I want such a convenient cultivation method. How about you introduce one to me? That's why I hate cultivation the most, Chen Zhao said in disappointment. After returning to his body, Chen Zhao suddenly remembered something. Oh, you haven't told me how to leave my body. It's simple. Make yourself lose your mind and then knock yourself out. Then, your soul will leave your body. What's the principle? I don't know. Chapter 725. This is the most convenient and simple method. It doesn't require training at all. You don't like it? Old Turtle said unhappily. Chen Zhao felt stifled. Simple was simple. The key was that it was too rough. What if it turned him into a fool? By the way, this will turn you into a fool, right? Yes. Sometimes, some people beat themselves into idiots, and their primordial spirits never came back. Why do I feel like you're setting me up? Old Turtle immediately changed the topic. By the way, I've recently developed a simplified version of Body Double. Do you want to learn it? What simplified version? Didn't you say that I can't learn Doppelganger? This simplified version can only create 2 avatars, and the avatars can't use magic. Is it difficult? Chen Zhao asked. It's simple. The so-called simplicity was only relative. Chen Zhao studied for more than 10 days, but he still didn't understand everything. Why are you so stupid? It's such a simple technique, and you still haven't learned it after learning it for more than 10 days? You said that my primordial spirit has been strengthened, but why do I feel like it hasn't been strengthened at all? Didn't you say that after one's primordial spirit is strengthened, one can learn everything faster? Old Turtle turned his head and spat out silently. The base number is too low. This sentence was hurtful. Fuck, I don't believe that I can't learn it. If I can't learn it, I won't go out. Don't be too hard on yourself. Some things are sudden epiphanies. What is an epiphany? The apple fell on Newton's head and he discovered gravity. That's called enlightenment. Alright, another 10 days had passed, and he still hadn't learned it. Over 20 days in the river diagram was only half an hour in the real world. After leaving the river map, he received a call from Dell. Hey, Chen, why couldn't I get through to you? What is it? Chen Zhao and Dell had known each other for a long time. Dell also kept changing under Chen Zhao's gaze. The current Dell was no longer doing the ridiculous things of the past. Didn't you say you wanted to buy a yacht? Yes, yes. Do you want to customize it or buy it directly? What's the difference? Custom-made ones are definitely more expensive and take longer. A yacht will take at least half a year to make. If it's a larger yacht, it will take more than a year to make. If you buy it directly, it will be much simpler. There are also 3 grades. Get to the point. There's a yacht exhibition the day after tomorrow. Do you want to go together? Chen Zhao thought for a moment and answered, okay. Let me know when it's time. Just as Dell hung up, Stephen called again. Chen, there's a yacht exhibition the day after tomorrow. Do you want to go together? Aw. A friend of mine has asked me out. You've met him before. It's Dell. Then let's go together, Steven said. All right. When Chen Zhao was alone at home, he would usually replenish his supplies. Chen Zhao and Fei Lai were the only ones at home. But there was still a whole family of different sizes, and there were 10 underlings. Therefore, the consumption of the family was quite large. The people in Mountain Town's supermarket were already very familiar with him. After all, he had lived here for almost a year. He had also taught a few of the town's gangsters a lesson. After a few times, he had become familiar with them. Every time he went to the supermarket, there would always be a few girls throwing flirtatious glances at him. Chen Zhao more or less knew what they were thinking. Back when Chen Zhao had lived at 13 Banana Street, he had kept a low profile. Now that he was living in a mansion and driving a luxurious car, the girls all regretted what they had done. After returning to the villa, Chen Zhao received another call from James. Hey, Chen, when are you free to come to the set? We've officially started filming. I think I'm filming with Steven and Yafin. When are they free? They said they're asking you when you're free. They'll cooperate with you. James could see that Steven and Chen Zhao's relationship had reached such a level. I'm free these few days, except the day after tomorrow. Are you free today? James asked. Mr. Steven's visiting the set today. Steven had actually come to the set today to hold the fort. In James's crew, the male lead had some status. He was also a new director, so he couldn't control the male lead. But when Steven came today, the male lead was as obedient as a sheep. Okay, I'll go now. It wasn't even noon and Chen Zhao had nothing to do. Metal, wood, water, fire, earth. If you have guests, call me. With that, Chen Zhao left. Half an hour later, he arrived at James's set. Hey, give me the parking space. Chen Zhao poked his head out of the window and saw a tall, black-haired woman in the sports car. In the driver's seat was a girl with glasses. She should be an assistant. She was the one who'd said that. But her English was a bit bad and her accent was very strong. Chinese. Japanese. Or Korean. You're also Chinese. Both the woman and the assistant were surprised. They didn't expect to meet someone from the same hometown here. The assistant's tone wasn't very polite, but Chen Zhao didn't want to make things difficult for his fellow countrymen. You're actors here? Yes. Hey Changji nodded. Don't you know me? Sorry, are you a local actor? Yes, you're a crew member. No, I'm just a minor character. Chen Zhao shook his head. Hey, give me the parking space, the assistant called again. We're really in a hurry. I took the parking space first. You guys should figure it out yourselves. How can he be like this? He's so rude. Chen Ku glanced at the assistant. Go park the car. I'll go report to the set first. When Chen Ku entered the set, she saw the man from before standing beside the director with the script in his hand. The director was explaining the scene to him. He had the script and the director was still explaining the scene to him. It seemed that he had some scenes. Chen Ku's eyes turned and brightened. It was director Steven. Chen Ku immediately tidied up her clothes and walked over elegantly. Hello, director. I'm Chen Ku. James glanced at Chen Ku and then at the time. Good, very punctual. I like punctual actors. Hello, Mr. Steven. Steven glanced at Chen Ku and nodded. Miss Chen, wait a moment. It's not your turn yet. There are a few more scenes before that. Okay. Chen Ku found a seat and sat down, looking at James and Stephen. Chapter 726. Put this on. What's this? A bulletproof vest. No, it's filled with blood bags and explosives, James said. You're shooting the last scene now. You'll be shot to death. Chen Ku looked at Chen Zhao, thinking that his role was very ordinary. Just then, Stephen said, James, let me do this scene. Chen Zhao rolled his eyes, displeased. Chen Zhao was a bit envious. Stephen would do it himself. That was the dream of so many actors. Even Chen Ku herself wanted this opportunity. Why was this guy so reluctant? Scene 13, first take. Ready, action. Stephen was directing the camera himself. Now start running. Look left and right. When you realize that the enemy has caught up to you, turn around. Ing. Stephen stood up. What kind of shit are you acting? Look, look. Remember the look of fear. Again. Scene 13, second take. Action. Chen Zhao repeated the previous action according to the script. Look of fear, fuck. Ing. Are you looking for a woman? You're a piece of shit. Chen Zhao was furious. If you scold me again, I'll tear your mouth apart. Fuck, you're so bad. Can't I say anything? Chen Ku was dumbfounded. In the United States, how could any minor character be so awesome? He was the publicly acknowledged top director in the world. Scene 13, third take. Action. Good. Look of fear. Then you get kicked down and shout not to shoot. Don't shoot. No, bang, 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 the blood bags on Chen Zhao's chest exploded one by one. Stephen screamed again. Fuck, don't you scream when you get shot. Even a pig would know pain. Again. Chen Zhao glared at Stephen fiercely. Stephen shrunk his neck. What's with that look? Professionalism. Do you know what professionalism is? Look at that lady from China. Even without the camera, she's still reading the script. How many times have you read the script? Chen Ku was embarrassed by Stephen's compliment. Actually, she'd been watching them. On the fourth take, Chen Zhao finally passed the scene. However, Chen Zhao's entire body was covered in blood. Chen Ku's female assistant stood beside Chen Ku and looked at him. Little bum, you're wasting time. Wang Lu, this is a foreign country, not a domestic one. Watch your words. Chen Zhao took a towel. Filming was indeed not easy. This scene made Chen Zhao feel like he was fighting a pig. No matter what, he would never go to Stephen's crew again. This was just a temporary cameo as a director, and he was already scolding her so badly. What are you dilly-dallying for? The second scene is still yours. Chen Zhao was still wiping the blood off his body and face when Stephen started urging him again. What's the second scene? The second scene was me pinning you to the ground and beating you up. What? You beat me. Why? No matter how I look at it, you don't look like you can beat me. It would be more convincing if I beat you up. That's the script, Stephen said matter-of-factly. Chen Zhao flipped through the script. It was indeed like that. This time, it was James himself directing. Scene 14, first act. First time, get ready, action. Stephen, the old man, exploded with strength from somewhere and pounced on Chen Zhao. Chen Zhao could only fall down. Stephen was acting as an old detective. Chen Zhao was a pitiful robber who got separated from the group. From the beginning, he fought with the old detective and was finally beaten to death by the old detective. Steven didn't really hit him, but when his fist missed, Chen Zhao still had to act like he was hit. Cut, Steven, you're amazing. James didn't forget to suck up to Steven. No, I don't think it was perfect just now. His scream wasn't loud enough. James looked at Chen Zhao awkwardly. Anyway, this was how these two hated each other. They were so good, but they had to torture each other like this. Fuck, I'm not acting anymore. Chen Ke was surprised. How could an extra make such a request? Just then, James said, okay, this scene is over. Chen Ke was even more shocked. How could this be? Why did this extra look like the main character? No, he was even cooler than the main character, right? Look at the main character. He was just beside her like a grandson. When can I beat him up? Chen Zhao asked, pointing at Steven. Not so soon. These are the only 2 scenes today. Go rest, James said. Then he looked at Chen Ke. Come here. How's your English? No problem, Chen Ke answered in English. Okay, how's the script? I've basically memorized the lines for the first few scenes. Then let's begin. Chen Ke realized that Steven had left too. She was a bit disappointed. She'd hoped that Steven could see her performance and even remember it. After a tiring day, Chen Ke and her assistant, Wang Lu, left the set. Chen Ke's phone rang. Hello. Hey, Aku, are you free tonight? Auntie, I just came out from the set. Isn't staying here more comfortable than staying in a hotel? Mainly because it's close to the set. I'll send someone to be your driver every day. No need. Forget it. You can at least come over for dinner. You haven't seen your cousin, right? Chen Ke thought about it. Okay. After hanging up, Chen Ke said to Wang Lu, let's go in another direction. Ah, Ku, where are you going? Forget it. Pull over. I'll drive. Chen Ke was quite familiar with Los Angeles. A year ago, she'd studied at UCLA. She'd also been to her auntie's house, but she knew that her cousin, whom she'd never met, was in a bad condition and couldn't meet outsiders. Wang Lu sat in the passenger seat. Seeing Chen Ke drive into a manor, she was a bit shocked. The manor was really too big. It was obviously a rich person's home. Ah, Ku, where is this? My auntie's house, Chen Ke said. Just then, a black bodyguard came over. He seemed to know Chen Ke. Miss Chen, do you need help? No. Then please follow me. Boss is waiting for you inside. Wang Lu followed behind Chen Ke all the way, trembling with fear. She was afraid of going the wrong way or not being able to keep up. Ah, Ku, are there any rules here at your aunt's place? Chapter 727. Auntie. Chen Ke walked into the living room and saw that apart from her auntie, there was also a girl. She had long black hair and a pair of big eyes. She was very pretty. However, she seemed unhappy. She stuck out her little nose and seemed to be sulking. Ah, Ku, you're here. Yura's mother went up, clearly very happy. Who is she? My assistant, Wang Lu. Hello, Auntie. Come, sit. Yura's mother looked at Yura. Yura, she's your cousin. Aren't you going to greet her? Hello. Yura looked at Chen Ke and greeted her. Then she went back to her own world. Yura, hello. What's wrong? Chen Ke went up to greet Yura. No, I'm fine. Ignore her. She's throwing a tantrum. Chin-ko looked at Yura in confusion. Yura, tell me, what's wrong with you and Mom? Mom said that as long as I get B+ in every subject, she'll let me play with my brother, but she broke her promise. Chin-ko was a bit surprised. She knew that she had a cousin. But just like Yura, she had never met this cousin before. But it seemed that Yura and her brother were quite close. Yura, your brother has his own life. I don't think it's good for you to keep disturbing him. Yura's mother was also Chin Zhao's mother, but they weren't that close. Therefore, Yura's mother was still not willing to let Yura interact with Chin Zhao too much. Brother didn't say anything. Why aren't you willing? It's too late now. You're lying to me again. You promised before the summer break, but you kept dragging it until now. It's been a month. Are you going to drag it until September? Are you going to let me go? Yura's mother really did plan to do that. But now, Yura had clearly made things clear to her mother based on her personality. Chin-ko was a bit awkward. She had come to visit her auntie and put up with her cousin. But now, she had encountered a family dispute. Auntie, how about I bring Yura over? I've never seen this cousin before. I can use this chance to put up with him. This. Yura's mother hesitated. Sure. Before her mother agreed, Yura had already agreed for her. I'll take you there. Yura's mother hesitated for a moment. You can only stay at your brother's place for 3 days at most. Don't disturb him too much. 3 days. Yura's expression darkened again. If you don't agree, then don't ever think about going to your brother's place. Okay, 3 days it is. I'll call Cheryl. Yura happily picked up the phone. Surely, I'm going to stay with my brother for 3 days. You can come too. Sure. Cheryl hadn't gone to Chin Zhao's house in a long time and was worried about not having an excuse. Now that Yura called, she agreed without hesitation. After hanging up, Cheryl looked at Chris and Sienna pitifully. Sister Chris, Sister Sienna, Yura said she wants to go to Chen's house, but she's afraid of being alone. Don't mess around in Chen's house. Chris glared at Shirley. Shirley immediately jumped up in excitement. She could go to Chen's house again. Yura, do you really like your brother? Of course. He's super awesome. Your brother really lives in a remote place, Chen-ko said. The town was at least 30 kilometers away from Los Angeles. It seemed that Yura's brother didn't have a good background. No wonder Auntie didn't want Yura to interact with her brother. It was probably because they didn't get along. Ah, cool, did we go the wrong way? Wang Lu asked worriedly. Chen-ko was also suspicious. She looked at Yura. Yes. Turn at the intersection ahead. Doesn't this road lead to the wilderness? Chen-ko was even more suspicious now. The sign at the intersection says Mirror Lake, right? Yes. Brother lives by the lake. From the intersection onward, all the land belongs to him. Chen-ko was very suspicious of Yura's words. After turning the corner, the road became somewhat gloomy. Not only were there many bends, but there were also no street lights. Finally, a beam of light appeared before them. They finally saw the house before them. Chen-ko and Wang Lu were stunned by the scene before them. It was such a beautiful house. It was like a house in a dream. Their eyes lit up. Did your mom buy this for your brother? No, mom and brother don't have a good relationship. Yura was at an age where she could understand things. She knew some things and understood some things. A house like this would cost at least a few $1,000,000. Chen-ko estimated. She didn't know much about this either. However, if according to Yura, the surrounding land belonged to her cousin, then even a few $1,000,000 wouldn't be enough. Just then, the door inside opened. A huge bear ran out. Yura immediately got out. Chenku didn't even have time to stop her. Just as Chenku was trembling in fear, Yura opened her arms and hugged Princess. Ha! Princess, did you miss me? Did you miss me a lot? Chenku and Wang Lu got out of the car. They looked at the huge bear that was at least 10 times her weight. But Yura didn't care at all. Just then, a man came out. Chenku and Wang Lu realized that it was actually the man they met on the set today. Wasn't he the extra? How could he afford a house like this? Needless to say, Chenku's aunt must have bought it for him. Yura, why are you here? Brother, do you not welcome me? Chen Zhao's face twitched. Yes, of course you're welcome. Then, Chen Zhao looked at Chenku and Wang Lu. You're that female star. Why are you and Yura together? I'm Chenku. If I'm not wrong, you should be my cousin. Cousin? Chen Zhao frowned and thought for a long time. Do I have a cousin? Chenku's face darkened. If you think you don't, then you don't. I brought Yura to you. Bye. Bye. Chen Zhao didn't want to keep her. Chenku was filled with hatred. She got into the car and left. Aw, Ku, your cousin is so uncultured. Okay, drive. Chenku wasn't in a good mood either. Do you want to ask the director to cut out your cousin's scenes when you arrive at the set tomorrow? I haven't talked much with the director. Do you think my words will work? You're tuning into the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.